What's up, my friends in film fandom, wherever you may be, and however you may be watching, whether it be on your mobile device, your PC, your laptop, or just imagining my voice in your head. And we very much appreciate you giving us a little bit of your time. Plenty to talk about tonight. Plenty to talk about. A couple of big movie trailers, one specifically that Jeremy and I are extremely excited for, that we're going to be talking about right off the top. But before we go into that, I want to introduce you to my cool co-hosts. The first of which being my hetero life mate, Jeremy. What's going on with you, my brother?
I don't know what gave it away, but I'm excited about one thing, at least in particular. And I also appreciate that I think somewhere in all of our frames is something to do with what we're talking about. Like, he's got Ghostbusters, I've got Clerks, there's Top Gun back there. Oh, aha, Stay Puffed. Look at that.
He's gonna go right here, little baby Stay Puft.
Hell yeah.
I'm just wearing my demo ranch shirt like I usually do.
That works.
But yeah, so if you've watched the show more than twice, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But also joining us tonight is direct from the Badlands in Montana, where he's probably digging up some other crazy crustaceous period monster that he's probably going to clone and destroy the entire world with. Is the Brooding Gamer? What's up, my brother?
You mean one of these?
You know it. You know it.
Right there, one of these
Exactly. I can't. Yep, right there. I got a big one coming for you. Hey, thanks for having me on tonight. I'm a spooky whatever tonight.
But no Lady Cora tonight. She has actually got some stuff going on, but we look forward to having her back next week. But until then, I think we got a pretty good crew tonight. We got a couple of really cool stories to talk about. And as soon as I grab for my, where'd it go? There it is. For my lead-in, so I can tell you exactly what we're talking about tonight. Let's kick it off right away with the one thing that Jeremy and I have been waiting for a long time. There's actually two trailers that have dropped. Well, one that dropped a couple of days ago, and one that is going to be dropping very, very soon. The first one is Kevin Smith has announced the Clerks 3 is finished, and he hinted at when the third film of the trilogy will be released. The film, which will conclude the Clerks trilogy, follows 1994's Clerks and 2006's Clerks 2. While both of these films centered on the character of Dante Hicks as the protagonist, Smith said that the third film will focus more on Randall Graves, the sidekick of the first two stories. The film is predicated on the idea, and this is a direct quote from Kevin Smith, predicated on the idea that Randall survives a heart attack, a massive heart attack, quite like I did, says Smith, and then winds up, deciding that he wasted his life. And let's see, he decides to make a film about himself at the convenience store, much like Kevin Smith did in real life with the first Clerks movie. The trailer and the release date are expected to be released on my birthday in about 1 week on July 6th. See, Kevin Smith knows me. He knows that July 6th is my birthday. He's like, you know what? I'm going to drop this trailer and probably the release date on Frank's birthday because, me and him, we hang out whenever I'm in Jersey. But, Jeremy, me and you have been talking, speculating, wondering when we were finally going to get this trailer and a release date. It is now upon us. How excited are you?
Again, I don't know what gave away my excitement. Because I actually forgot, too. I added something to my unboxing that does tie into this, and you'll be happy to know. It'd been sitting in the back of my mind, back in my closet, so to speak. So, this feels like the appropriate time to put it up, but I'll save that reveal for later. I'm very excited. Because I think that was one of the first things, that really got, you and me, talking to each other when we worked together all those years ago, forever in hell, Yeah, it was one of the series that we actually, bonded over. And the cool thing about this is, it's Kevin Smith seems to be, hell, he's over here, yeah, right there. His little pop is right there, because I'm he's a really cool dude, and he's a huge inspiration, I know, to the both of us, and to anyone else who's ever just thought, you know what, fuck it, just, write some shit out, put it on film, have fun with it, make something that you want to see. That's what always stuck in my mind, is hearing him say, look, man, I wanted to make movies that I wanted to see, or something that I wanted to make. And that's cool. And I love that these, specifically the central story, I guess, of his Askewniverse being the Clerks trilogy now. It gets really meta, and it really centers around things that are going on in his life. He's always said, the first Clerks is him through his 20s. Clerks 2 is him through his 30s. And, now with this one, this is like it gets really super meta now, of like stuff that's currently going on in his life as we speak. So I don't know, just holds a really special place, and I cannot wait to see how this happens.
Yeah, you're not joking. The cornerstone of our friendship was built on us talking shit for hours and hours on end, pissing off our bosses so many times as we're talking about the Kevin Smith movies and just kind of like the way that he puts them all together. Brooding Gamer, I know that you are not well versed in the way of Clerks.
I am not.
Yet, but I know that you've seen some of the Kevin Smith View Askew universe movies. I mean, what do you think of just kind of overall just the way he makes films?
I like him. I have to say it for the longest time. I mean, I know of the Clerks that it was actually I've known of it through Jeremy because he's the one that talked about it when we were in Boy Scouts and everything. He referenced like Jay and Silent Bob and stuff like that. So it was like I knew of it through them or through him. I have to say I'm a big fan of Kevin Smith. I like the way. I mean, I love his. I mean, hell, he got Stan Lee to be in one of his movies, for God's sake. So I mean,
yeah, he did.
You cannot. That is where the something True Believers or something. I don't remember how that went, but I mean, if you can get Stan the Man in a movie, you're all right in my book. And I loved.
And make a really meta reference in Captain Marvel of him sitting on the bus reading the script for Mallrats. Sorry, not Clerks. Mallrats.
Mallrats.
He just like looks up and is like just smiles at her. I'm like, oh my god! And I don't know that. Man, I don't know how I would take that.
Yeah.
I'd be absolutely flattered to all hell.
I mean, I think he's a really good guy. He's really down to earth. I learned a lot more about him through his podcast and through The Talking Dead, which he was on quite a few times, in his iconic hockey jersey,
the Fat Man jersey,
the Fat Man jersey. So yeah, I think this is gonna be one of those movies that if I'm gonna watch the third one, I'm gonna have to watch the first two.
Oh, I got
Jeremy,
you.
That's your job.
I have got
You've already got a list of movies. What was the other one we got to watch? You have not changed that.
You have not seen American Psycho, which I am very surprised by.
Wow, I haven't seen the movie in forever either. I haven't sit and watch it again.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Movie party.
My last point is, as we all know, Frank just doesn't, have my intro as the hetero life mate for no reason. That's why. So.
Yeah, this entire channel was born of me and Jeremy sitting at work and having endless discussions about movies and music and just all the stuff that entertains us. And then of course Aaron eventually.
Here we are.
So it's.
But I mean, think about that first. Think about it for a second. I'm pretty sure that's 90% of where his movies come from. Of everyone just kind of sitting around shooting shit. Next thing you know, you've got a script together. So I mean, like, it's kind of like you two are. This is where your roots came from. Here. Yep. These are the roots.
I still think we should do that for Halloween. Like, you and I go as Jay and Silent Bob.
That'd be kind of cool.
Oh yeah. My mom says your mic is low.
I know. I just turned it up on my microphone box, hoping that'll help a little bit. But I don't know how it got turned down. Maybe that's one of the reasons why people were having trouble, like last week, trying to hear me. But one of the great things about Kevin Smith and just his creative process is every story to him has got this personal bent to it. So it's like he made Clerks kind of as a very meta, kind of funny way of spoofing his own life and existence. And it became this indie darling that movie lovers just love to go and watch. And then he brought that same sensibility to making other stories like Dogma or Chasing Amy. I mean, he's experimented. Chasing Amy wasn't my favorite of the View Askew universe movies, but I love the fact that he's always taken that sensibility and tried different things. So all these movies in the View Askew universe have always been kind of a different feel. It's like you have like the straight up comedies like Clerks. You have the chick flick that is Chasing Amy, and then things like Jersey Girl, which again not that great, but I mean, whatever. I love the way he brings his sensibilities, tackles all these different genres, and just says, "I'm gonna tell this crazy story." And he's even done stuff like horror, with like Tusk and Red State and stuff like that. So, and
I
Tusk
forgot he did Tusk.
Tusk is a good movie. It's a really interesting movie to watch.
It's a movie.
Yeah, it's got that little bit of comedy, like Johnny Depp playing the private investigator La Petite or La Pierre, whatever his name was. It's like stuff like that I love his approach towards it all. And again, like you were saying, Gamer, it's like he's a very grounded person. He's not one of these guys like M. Night Shyamalan got this big head because somebody said he was going to be the next Steven Spielberg, and all of a sudden his movie started sucking because his ego got huge. Kevin Smith is just like, fuck it, I'm making movies that me and Jason Mewes like to sit here, get high, eat Cheetos, and watch for 3 hours. and that's the brilliance behind all this, is he just makes stuff that's good. He makes stuff that's good to him, and we all just seem to like it. But yeah, I'm very, very excited. We're gonna be finding out on the 6th. We're gonna be getting the first trailer, and probably I would imagine a release date, which is already rumored for being sometime this fall.
I'm hearing some static or something. What is that?
It's coming from Frank, I think.
Me. I'm having Discord's being a bit of a bitch. It has been for the last couple of weeks. So.
Okay, I'm just making sure. I was like, wait, am I fan on too loud?
He's going back into the 50s.
Yeah, I am. But
you should put a black and white shader, just fade to the black and white, just for the just for the Clerks.
Welcome to the Harsh Truth Show.
That'd be kind of cool. We'll actually do a whole episode like that. That'd be kind of fun.
Oh,
I got you. I've already got something.
When we do the reviews, the review for Clerks, we should be in black and white.
Ooh.
And then when we go to Clerks, you see where I'm going?
And I'll just put like a background of like that could be the quick stop, and like we're standing up against the wall.
We should there was a place near my apartment that I had a long time ago, Frank. You know what I'm talking about. It wasn't like far. I don't remember where I was going, but I passed this place. I kid you not, it was called a Quick Stop, and I was like, I need to take a picture up against that wall, like now.
Just standing there, looking off to the side, selling dope.
Well,
kids.
that's what we should do. Like, I should put I assure you we're open. You need to put if you plan a shoplift, please let us know. Like, put the signs in the background. It'd be great.
Damn right. I just came up with 2 great ideas that I could have put on the board back here, but I was
I'm sorry.
in the middle of getting stuff done and getting dinner cooked for the kids. I just didn't put a board. But now I've got 2 great ideas that I could have put up there. I could have put, I assure you are open.
Yeah, exactly. Why are we supposed to be here?
But yeah, I'm super fucking excited about this. And as Jeremy was just alluding to, after we had such great success and great fun breaking down the Jurassic Park movies one by one, after we get an actual release date, we'll start making plans to see, to make sure we break down Clerks 1 and Clerks 2 in the lead up to Clerks 3. And of course, we're going to do a review on that one.
I guess I'll have to be a part of that.
You'll have to be a viewer.
You're sucked in now.
How's the bottom baby over here enjoying the movie? Thanks, God.
Yeah, so we will definitely be breaking down all those, especially now that we're going to be getting a completion of the Clerks trilogy. I am more than excited that we're finally going to be getting a Clerks 3. Again, this is something that he's been talking about for a long time, because I remember in an interview a long time ago, I think I mentioned this a couple times over the course of last year or so, that he had actually had Tusk and Clerks 3 ready to go at the same time.
Yeah.
He was just waiting to see which one came through with the funding first. And Tusk ended up coming through first. So that's why he did Tusk instead of doing Clerks 3.
And then there was a scary bit of time there where we're like, he's like, Clerks 3's not going to happen. I'm like, oh! But you said! I'm like, right.
Well, the interesting thing is,
took a walrus for this?
Walrus, yes. Hashtag
walrus, yes.
But it's kind of, there's a silver lining, kind of a happy accident to all this. I like this concept of Randall having a heart attack and reflecting on his own life. So much in the way that Kevin Smith has done the same thing.
Yeah, you're still getting a lot of static. I'm sorry, someone's.
I know. I don't know. Maybe my mic. I don't know. I can't switch.
Unplug it. Plug it back in.
Well, I can't switch mics now because we're kind of right in the middle of everything. But
there we go. That sounds.
I like that way better.
Oh, well,
whatever you're doing.
Maybe it was. I don't know. I just wiggled my cords.
Chef's kiss.
But
sometimes that's what you got to do.
Sometimes you just got to wiggle the cord.
Give it a little wiggle.
Sometimes you can go ass to mouth.
But yeah, it is. Maybe it is this happy accident. Maybe it was just like this weird destiny of him as a filmmaker that this thing happens in the timing that it happens. Like instead of making Clerks 3, he makes Tusk. Then he goes on. He has the heart attack, and that gives him like this great inspiration to like this is the story that I want for this film now. Because maybe he didn't like the original script for Clerks 3 all that much. So maybe he was just like, it's a good story, but maybe there's something here. It's not quite there. And then he goes through what he goes through in life, and he's like, now I've got it. Now Randall goes through a similar situation when I go through. I'm going to have fun with that and play with it a little bit.
Art imitates life.
It does. Some of the best
So.
art imitates life too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really really excited that Clerks 3 is finally going to be coming out again, probably this fall. That's what I've been reading online the last couple of days. But we're going to be finding out probably for sure on July 6th, which is a Wednesday. My birthday. Thank you, Kevin Smith.
Wait.
You're my buddy. They're going to be actually dropping the
You're
trailer.
on my wall. You're on my wall, Kevin Smith. You ever see this? You're right there.
They're going to be dropping the trailer for Clerks 3. Also, I don't know if you noticed online or not, Jeremy, on Twitter. He's actually releasing every day from I think yesterday up to the release of the trailer different Clerks 3 poster ideas or marketing ideas.
Oh, is that what
Twitter.
that was? Is that what it was that I saw? The one with the lock and
Yeah.
they're too old for the shift? I'm like, aha.
That was the one. So he's going to be releasing different pieces of art, which I think are really cool as well.
Well, I apologize to everyone on my social media because I will be sharing this. I'll be sharing them every single day.
I'll be sharing them every 5 minutes, so get ready for a lot of Clerks content on social media. But as always, we care about what you guys think, so go down in the comments below and let us know. What do you guys think of Clerks 3 finally dropping a trailer on July 6th and hopefully giving us a release date that I'm hearing is in the fall? I am very, very excited for this. I'm very excited that we still have Kevin Smith to make these great films, and I am very much looking forward to it. So go down in the comments below.
You should be excited because, like I said, if you think about it, if that didn't happen, none of this would have happened.
Maybe.
What we're doing right here.
Yeah, I mean it's this butterfly effect, this way the world works. Very, very crazy thing. But moving on to our next
What
topic.
a twist!
With a twist. Thank you.
Moving on to our next topic, and apparently some legends never die. The Sanderson sisters are now back in their first teaser trailer for Hocus Pocus 2, and they are as child-hungry as ever. The sequel to the classic Halloween movie reunites Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy as Winifred, Sarah, and Mary Sanderson, respectively, and takes place 29 years after the original film. The sequel is scheduled to hit Disney Plus on September 30th, just in time for the spooky season. We were talking a little bit before we went live. Hocus Pocus is a longtime favorite for a lot of us. What do you guys think about the trailer that dropped for Hocus Pocus 2?
I don't know because I totally fucking forgot to watch it. My bad.
Ah! How could you?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I named my cat after this movie. God damn it!
That's true.
Dude, and he's not even a black cat. That's what's sad. But oh my god, it looks so good to see all three of them, even all this time. Like I get Hollywood magic and all, and especially Digi magic,
Digimon.
Disney magic, Mickey Digivolve too. I swear, it's like when I didn't think they were going to show them yet. I thought this would be the first trailer, and we would get a little bit like they do with the lightning crackles. And she yells, "Children of Salem," whatever, blah, blah, blah. But when it showed them, I was like, really? The only one that doesn't look really all the same is the one who always had her mouth and weird. She always did like weird things with her mouth, or she's like doing this all the time.
Mary.
Oh, yeah.
Mary, is it?
Mary.
Yeah. Of course, Sarah Jessica Parker still looks as gorgeous as ever as Sarah. And Winnie looks. I'm excited.
Bette Midler. You know you have to explain it.
Bette Midler is just like
Doing what she does
dude.
best.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be one hell of a movie. Of course, I'm very biased when it comes to Disney and Halloween. Two of my favorite things. It's if I had three favorite things in my entire life, it's dinosaurs, Disney, and Halloween. Those are my three things. Combine all three. I don't combine all three. That'd be weird. You'd have like a weird Universal Studios festival. I don't want to know what's going on there. It looks like it's going to be awesome.
You can't tell me Winnie riding a T-Rex going, "Sister!" And all of a sudden they fly in.
Yes. No, that would be Mary riding the T-Rex because her broom's never there. She'd be riding like a bone or a pickaxe or a fucking dinosaur for all I care.
That's what's funny is I don't know if it's a doctored picture or not, and I hope it's not because it'd be hilarious. There's one of like the three of them, and they're like silhouetted, on the poster, and you see like Winnie and Sarah, they have brooms or what look like something like brooms, And then you just see Mary over there. Looks like she's kind of skating like this, and she's got 2 little discs on her feet. And someone's like, "I know she ain't riding 2 Roombas."
I saw that. Yeah.
I was like, "Wait a minute, she rode? Well, didn't she ride a vacuum cleaner in the first movie?"
Yeah.
I'm like,
A
"Come
mop
on!"
and then a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, I'm
Wait,
like,
was there a
"Come
mop?
on." I think so. Did they have like a weird? They each had something like really weird that was supposed to be a broom, but or some sort of cleaning device that they rode.
One had a broom, one had a mop, and I think the other
vacuum
one
cleaner.
had the vacuum cleaner. Mary always like.
I'm
I need
like,
to
"Come
buy-
on!"
I know that Spirit Halloween. Spirit Halloween. It's cool because my mom has gone as Mary every single year for Halloween since, oh God, when the Hocus Pocus craze kind of kicked back up out of nowhere a few years back.
Yeah.
She went as Mary, had a wig and everything, and
Awesome.
last year it was very close that Haley and I were going to go as Sarah and Billy. So I hope to God they bring Billy back. That would be cool. I don't know. I'm excited for this. It looks like it's going to be really good.
Yeah, it's set 29 years later. That's an oddly specific number. Can you tell me why? Sound off in the comments. What's my favorite thing that we do today with these movies?
Let me see if I can find.
I'm not mad. Let me preface. I'm not mad. Now, weirdly enough, I haven't seen Hocus Pocus in a good number of years, and I know it's weird coming from me. But to be fair, I mean, I watch like horror movies and slashers and whatnot. I'm not saying I don't watch this movie and enjoy it. It's it's a different type of Halloween movie.
Yeah. In the day you watch
split
Hocus
in half
Pocus.
and decapitated. Yeah.
During the day you watch Hocus Pocus. During when the night falls, that's when you pop out the I'm feeling some Michael Myers tonight.
Yeah. We'll watch Hocus Pocus and then Halloween ends.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this. I have a soft spot for the first Hocus Pocus film. I think it's just a classic. It's a fun movie to watch. It feels good to watch that movie. And honestly, this, like so many other sequels that have come recently, I really thought was never going to happen. I didn't think we were ever going to see a Coming to America 2. I didn't think we were ever... I mean, the idea of Top Gun Maverick, I was like, I don't know if that's ever going to happen. It's been so long. But now that's what's popping off in Hollywood right now, is them going back to the well for these crazy old IPs and trying to make them a little fresh. And it worked great for it worked great for Top Gun. Ghostbusters was phenomenal. We'll be talking about that here in a minute.
Hey, I got you, segue.
Yeah, it's like... So yeah, it's been working out really well. But here's the thing, though, is it's been working out really well because the creatives behind it have had a personal stake in it. Remember, it was Jason Reitman that made Ghostbusters Afterlife. That was his dad's baby from back in the mid '80s, and his dad was heavily involved before he passed away, of course, in getting the film put together. So that was something. Tom Cruise took Top Gun Maverick very, very seriously because he didn't just want to make another action movie. This is one of the movies that launched his entire career. So he has a special place in his heart for this film. But yeah, I mean, this is one that I was just like, if we don't get a sequel, I don't care. I just like the original. But honestly, the trailer looked great. I actually loved that it took a little bit more, not of a horror vibe, but it was a bit more aggressive. It wasn't so fluffy Disney-like. There was a little bit more kind of gnarly imagery, like when they're chanting and the girls light the candle accidentally with their chant, and you see the ground start to crack and like this red light coming out of the cracks, and it splits off into three and breaks away, and that's where the witches start to come back into being. I thought that was a really cool image. That was a little more aggressive, a little more gnarly than anything we got out of the first movie. And I dig that too.
If I was rewatching, go ahead.
Well, no, the only thing that's nice about that sometimes it's like it's almost like they know the audience is like our age now.
You're going to be getting primarily people in their 20s and 30s who grew up watching. And I mean, we last Halloween we bought Hocus Pocus on Blu-ray at Target. Can you not? You have like one more day, my guys. We bought Hocus Pocus at Target, went home, watched it, and that was the first time I had watched Hocus Pocus in probably 10 years. And there was a lot of the time I stopped and looked over Haley, and I'm like, what the hell? She's like, what? I was like, they just ran over that cat, and it's flat. And then it's like cracking and stuff as it comes back. I was like, they got away with this shit? And she's like, well, Disney was different then. I'm like, I know that. But
you could any decade you'd be like, Disney's different. You know, you
fucking Billy getting his head knocked off and his body's just I'm like, what the fuck? Why did I not freak the hell out as a kid? I screamed my ass off watching Jeepers Creepers 2. When he comes down, wraps his arms or his wings and takes that guy's head off. But I'm sitting there like, damn, if you didn't watch this as a kid, it's like, it's okay, guys. I can watch Halloween. I watched Hocus Pocus. Like, I got this. I think
even the best part's like, go to hell. Oh, I've been there, thank you. I found it quite lovely.
I know, I love that. I love that. That's why I'm like, Billy has to come back. They have to bring, and I think they may bring Billy back because it looked like when someone shoved they had a shovel. I should know what a shovel looks like. A shovel going into a grave, and I had to stop and look at it again, and I thought it was Billy's grave. It may not be, but I think you've brought back the original Sanderson sisters, and that is, you couldn't do this without them. Even if they didn't bring back the original Sanderson sisters, and it was like something else, and you had like Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and I hate to say I don't know Mary's actual name. To have those three, like, you know, the heroes run into like a store and it's Bette Midler running the counter, or they go into like, I don't know, a police station to be like, we're being chased, and like the officer is Sarah Jessica Parker, which now I kind of want to see that. That would be kind of like, I call it the we don't talk about it Ghostbusters treatment, where they just kind of randomly threw actors in there. It's like, hey, look, fan service, and shoving it in our faces. But if there's several characters that are actors that they still need to bring back. Again, I don't remember his actual name or name even in the movie. Was it Max, or do I just call him Hollywood? I don't know what to do there. I don't know. There's so many random characters now. Max, okay. Or was Max his little sister?
Oh no, Max was the girl. I'm sorry,
Max was the little sister.
Half of my attention was over here.
What was? No, you're good. So now I'm like sitting here wondering. I've got like so many things going through my head right now, such as like, what actor played this? Is Spirit Halloween bringing back their own pop figure line for Hocus Pocus? Why are there fireworks going? Like, there's so much going off right now.
Wait! The sister's name was Danny. I knew it was like more of a guy's name, but it's spelled with an I. It's Danny was the girl, and Max was the kid. I was right.
Okay, you're good. Danny, there it is. And then they had the girl who was his love interest, which
Allison.
Yeah,
I remember Allison.
No, I remember Allison. It's hard to forget Allison. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm very excited. I wonder if Binks can come back. I doubt it, but they keep showing a black cat.
From what I've read about it so far, none of the original cast is back that they've announced. Because we're just getting to, because the first trailer just came out, so we're probably not quite to the heavy marketing phase yet, because it's September 30th before this comes out, and it's not getting released theatrically. It's going to be getting released on Disney Plus, so it's not going to get marketed the same way. So I have a feeling they might hold back on some things once we get into probably August. Give it about another month or so. And then I think that we're probably going to see them releasing probably another big trailer, and then probably releasing a little bit more of the cast, including probably at least one person from the original that might come back. I couldn't tell you who that is, but I think you almost have to have somebody from the original around there, even if nothing else, just for a glorified cameo.
See, I'm wondering if they're going to do, because many of you may not have known, but they actually made a book series. It wasn't really even a series. It was just one book that was a actual sequel to the first movie, where it follows the children of Max and Allison, and they somehow light the black flame candle again, even though the last time we saw the Sanderson sisters, they blew up, turned to stone, all that good stuff. So I'm very eager to hear how they managed to come back to life, or is it just going to be like they do in the first movie? They're like, oh, we're back? I thought we died.
Well, it's going to be magic. They're witches. It's called plot armor. You don't need to know how it works. You just know it works.
They're magic, they're witches, whatever. You're not mad.
Why do you care? Just enjoy.
But
I'm excited.
I'm excited about it too. But as always, we care about what you guys think. So go down in the comments and let us know what you guys think about the trailer for Hocus Pocus 2. How excited are you to see it? Do you think any of the original cast members from the original film, anyway, will be making any kind of an appearance in this? I think probably one will. It'll probably be something at the very end. It's going to be just one of those things where the old school fans are going to be like, ha, I remember that person. It's probably not going to be a big deal. But I'm pretty confident. I mean, having the three witches come back for a whole new story, a whole new generation, I think is a really fun thing. But go down in the comments below and let us know what you guys think. Now, moving on to our next story. I didn't think it was going to do it. I really didn't think it was going to do it, but it did. Top Gun Maverick has joined the $1 billion club at the global box office. It is actually the first Tom Cruise film to achieve this milestone, and the 50th Hollywood movie overall, not adjusted for inflation. Actor Joseph Kosinski's film passed the barrier after finishing Sunday with an estimated domestic total of $521.7 million and $484.7 million overseas, for a global total just north of $1 billion. The sequel is only the second Hollywood title of the pandemic era to cross the $1 billion mark, behind Sony and Disney's Spider-Man No Way Home, which made $1.89 billion. Now, I'm pretty sure that all three of us have seen the movie.
Nope.
You still haven't seen it, really?
Nope.
Wow, that's surprising.
No,
I'm
you're
not-
the only one.
I'm not. Look, I'm sorry. Let me get my obligatory "fuck you, Tom Cruise" out of the way. However, sorry, I'm really not. But I like the series of Top. Well, I guess I can say series now of Top Gun. So I don't know. I'm not like feeling the need for speed to go to the theater, but I'll see it eventually. I know I put "Talk to Me, Goose," but whatever. I've seen it, so don't at me.
You should go see it in theaters, because movies like these are made for theaters. The flying sequences and stuff like that, they're going to lose a lot if you try to watch it on TV the first time and it won't hit you the same. Because I think flying sequences in this film are every bit as good as they were in the original.
Oh, yeah.
I thought they were fantastic. My biggest shock is that it hit $1 billion. I really didn't think it was going to do it.
Yeah.
I thought the fact that it was a sequel that was way too late. I thought the fact that the whole Top Gun thing was great for like the mid '80s, but nowadays I don't think the rah Americanism, red, white, and blue thing flies the same way it did back in the '80s when Reagan was president. But for some reason, it's like this. I don't know if it was Kosinski who decided to do it like this, or if maybe it was something that he came to with Tom Cruise. I'm sure they both had a part in it. They didn't really deal with any politics at all in the movie. They made the movie kind of a celebration of these pilots. They didn't even name the country that they have to deal with in the movie. They just referred to them as the enemy. Now, we can make these assumptions that it's like Iran or Iraq or whatever, but it's just a Middle Eastern country is all they say. It's just the enemy. So they didn't really put any heavy political message into it. It was just about the action stuff, the sequences, the personal relationships, which was actually, there was a lot of emotion in this film. I mean,
I imagine.
because Tom Cruise spends, I don't want to spoil too much for Jeremy who hasn't seen it yet, but I mean, Tom Cruise is he's still dealing with the aftermath of losing Goose in the first movie like a million years ago. It's something that hangs on him.
Goose.
Yeah, there's a Rooster himself, Goose's son, who's dealing with this like leftover trauma of losing his dad, having to deal with the guy who he blames for his dad's death. There was a lot of emotion, a lot of different places in this movie. And I've got to tell you, my favorite scene of the entire movie is the conversation that Maverick has with Iceman. That is a phenomenal scene. Like, no aerial sequences, no stunts, no nothing. It was just these two guys sitting there talking, and it was a fantastic piece of dialogue delivery on both their parts. Val Kilmer is still Val Kilmer. And Tom Cruise is only about 2 years older than he was when he made the first Top Gun anyway, because he's drinking the blood of virgins and unicorns over in his Scientology place. But, yeah. but I mean, that to me, that emotion.
And
that
he's not
carries,
sharing. What a bastard.
that emotion of that scene was phenomenally good. I mean, I love this movie from top to bottom. I couldn't find a whole lot wrong with it. I mean, yeah, it's a little rah-rah. It's a little heavy-handed with some of the I don't want to say patriotism because it makes me sound like I don't like America or something. It's a little one dimensional in spots, but it was still very, very good. When they needed it, they had the emotion, they had the right amount of comedy. It's even got a little bit of Tom Cruise dealing with his own age, which is something we've never seen of Tom Cruise before. Because that's one of the subplots that goes throughout the course of this movie. It's Tom Cruise trying to deal with the fact that he's not young anymore. He's not that 30-year-old pilot he was back in 1986 doing all this shit with Goose and Iceman and all these guys doing all their shit. Is now he's the old guy, and this next generation is coming up behind him. And I think even he realizes that this next generation is probably better than he was at that age. So...
I hate to interrupt. I actually have to cut out, and I do apologize.
Oh, okay.
Right before Ghostbusters 2, and that, as I said, I was excited for that. So, thank you guys for having me, and I will see you guys in another show. Bye, everybody.
No problem. Later, brother.
Bye.
I hope my cameras will not freak out. Oh, they did, of course. Let me go to the...
I was like, I got to fix everything. Hold on.
Yeah, let me cut over to the thumb so I can fix cameras. But yeah, like I said, it was just a fantastic movie from start to finish. Yeah, $1 billion, though. I mean, honestly, I was blown away and surprised that Spider-Man crossed $1 billion, and not only did it do $1 billion, it came up on 2. But I mean, I was really shocked that this one was going to do it. The first Top Gun, if you adjust for inflation, only made $957 million. That's if you adjust for inflation. At the time, it made $360 million, I think. Actually, let me go to this real quick.
Not bad.
While I'm thinking about it, I've got Tom Cruise's box office stuff right here.
Okay.
Oh, now all my cameras are a mess. See, I had everything wired up.
We were all ready to go.
I know, I was ready to go. I was kind of hoping he'd stay around for a little bit longer, but British Gamer had to cut out. That's cool, though. Me and Jeremy got plenty to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as I can pull up. This is thenumbers.com. I used this a few weeks ago. We were talking about Johnny Depp. And let me... Eventually, it'll bring this page up. I hope. But anyway, again, it's kind of a similar situation to Johnny Depp, and it sucks for me to say it because it kind of flies in the face of something that I had said a couple weeks ago about Johnny Depp, is that while Tom Cruise has been a pretty regular box office draw, this is the first movie of his that has made $1 billion. Why did it go to that? Let me go back to what I was trying to get to. I finally got to bring the page up, and then it went to some other thing. Went to the main page. I don't know why. Acting credits. There we go. Now I think I got it. There we go. And forgive me for... I'm going to dump that out because my cameras are a mess now. But if you look at these, it's really shocking that some of these movies that he's been a part of haven't done better. I mean... This is his. I mean, we'll sort this by his worldwide box office. Top Gun Maverick is now the best, and then everything else is Mission Impossible.
I was gonna say Mission Impossible is probably the only other thing that's probably remotely close. If I had to take a guess.
Yeah, but one of the things that's kind of odd to me is like some of these movies that are like as soon as you think of the name of these movies, you get really impressed. Didn't even come close. It's like Rain Man, a classic.
Wow. Yeah.
We don't talk about The Mummy. Edge of Tomorrow, which is going to be getting a sequel. And that's really odd that movie didn't make more money because that movie it came out to not a lot of fanfare. They didn't market it well. But it blew up and everybody loved it. But I'm still really surprised that Edge of Tomorrow didn't make more money. Minority Report. I mean, there it is. The first Top Gun in '86 made $357 million. Jerry Maguire, The Firm, A Few Good Men, which may be one of his signature roles. Interview with a Vampire.
Right.
Collateral, which he did with Jamie Foxx, which I still think is one of his best films. I think he's awfully damn good in that. Days of Thunder. I mean, all these things that are synonymous with him. Like Cocktail.
War of the Worlds, even.
Yeah, Born on the 4th of July, Risky Business. Some of these things some of these things are just... Now, you get into his really, like when he was really young, like in the early 80s, you have things like The Outsiders and things like that.
Yeah.
But Taps, those are two very good movies of his. If you haven't seen them, you absolutely should. But I mean, it's mind-boggling that some of these films didn't do better. And it's kind of hard for me to wrap my head around. I mean, what do you think about it hitting $1 billion? As I still work with the cameras.
That's right. I'll stall for you. It's not like we've said before, nothing to sneeze at. So I mean, because what'd you say? It was only like out of like 50 some movies that have ever done that. Think of how many movies have ever been made. I mean, how many actually do make it to that benchmark. So I'm not surprised because, given. I mean, if you said Tom Cruise, what's the first thing you probably think of? I mean, you probably think of either Mission Impossible or Top Gun, right? So it's. I know we're doing the dumb thing of going 30, 40 some years, for a sequel, but it's like I feel like half of it's drawn on nostalgia, but then it's like obviously it wasn't a bad movie, so it's like, but it's also happened to be it's like it happened to be a good movie too. So not shocking, but also I don't know. I can't say I ever made a movie that made $1 billion, so
Yeah.
it would be nice.
Yeah,
But
it would be nice.
yeah,
Piece of paper there. But yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised, but I mean, look, the movie. People wanted a movie like this. They wanted some of this fun summer stuff, some of the summer stuff, blockbuster kind of movies. Now that we're finally kind of back into this full release schedule, so I'm not entirely surprised that it made good money. Billion though, I thought was pretty tough. But yeah, I mean, props to Tom Cruise. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, a lot of people thought that Ghostbusters Afterlife had kind of benefited from that big delayed release because of the pandemic, that they had a chance to kind of tighten it up a little bit, maybe edit some things a bit differently, and really kind of break the movie down second by second to see what worked and what didn't, so they could give us a great product. And maybe that helped. Maybe they just cut that from the beginning and let it sit on a shelf for a year. I don't know. But maybe this is kind of the same thing. I mean, this movie was supposed to come out something like, I think it was 3 years ago at Comic-Con is when we got the first trailer. 3 years ago, like way pre-pandemic, that we got the first trailer for this, and he went out at Comic-Con and said, Tom Cruise Maverick is coming, I'm back in the jet, I'm going to be doing this crazy stuff, and then he kept delaying it because he wanted to get more footage of him flying in jets. He wanted to actually learn how to fly a jet for real, which, the government was like, nah, we're not going to let you fly a multi-million-dollar airplane, even the ones that we just use for making movies, we're not letting you do it. And, but I mean, yeah, it worked out really, really well, I think. I think this movie is fun as shit.
the thing I think my mom asked too, because I remember I think Jurassic Park fucking blew Top Gun out of the water when it started, but this thing 4 days ago, which I guess is good enough for me, Top Gun tops $1 billion, and Jurassic World is 750 million, which again, nothing to sneeze at, but fucking Tom Cruise beat the dinosaurs, and that upsets me a little bit.
Yeah, Jurassic. Right. But Jurassic World, I think, still has more time.
True.
I think that movie is going to carry pretty well too. Where I think Top Gun might be kind of hitting the end. I don't really know. At least, I think the legs are going to start running out for Top Gun a lot sooner than they're going to run out for Jurassic World Dominion. That's just my guess.
That's fair.
But yeah, Top Gun hits $1 billion. That's no small thing. I mean, again, it's surprising that it's a first for Tom Cruise, who's been bankable as a star for a long time. And I'm really, really shocked that at least one of the more recent Mission Impossible movies didn't hit $1 billion. I've only just ever watched the movies and gone on with my life. I've never really watched the box office for them. But I'm really, really surprised that at least one of them didn't. But he's actually got 2 more Mission Impossible movies in the works right now. He's splitting up Mission Impossible, whatever the hell the name of the next one is. He's splitting it up into part 1 and 2. So, so he's got 2 more Mission Impossible movies coming up. Are they going to be the last? I don't know. But the question, as always, is to you folks. What do you think about Top Gun Maverick hitting the $1 billion mark at the box office? Did you guys see it? Let us know if you like it or not. And we're going to move on now to... actually, Jeremy, I believe, he's got some unboxing stuff he wants to do.
Oh, crap. That was fast. Let's see, now I'm wondering which order I should go in, because... you know what? I'll go with the thing I had planned originally, and then the second thing. Okay. Well, it's not fun if he doesn't see what it is. That's really upsetting. That's okay. Maybe I'll have to do this twice, or I don't know. Just keep talking. No, I'm losing the bag. 1 second. Okay. So I had actually had this also sitting in the corner. Yeah, I kind of forgot about it, and I'm kind of surprised that I did. Excuse me. Because now I need to figure out where to put it. This might be a slight issue. But back there behind me, right there, the top shelf, which you kind of can't see because using my fat head in the way of the chair. This damn wires piss me off. But back there on the top shelf is exclusively all of the Batman pops, and I think the Batarang too is back there. Yes, the 1989 Batarang is back there, and my signed Batman poster from Kevin Conroy is actually back here, which I should now maybe move to the second shelf. Because hey, he's back. Look at that. See how good I am at stalling. See how good I am at stalling and drawing it out. I'm like, oh, Frank's not going to see it. It's not fun. So I just bullshitted here for like the last 2-3 minutes. Anywho, so the setup is, back here I have all my Batman stuff on this top shelf, and I might need to now kind of go into the second shelf, which sucks because that whole shelf right there is all Zombieland. But I had this sitting in the corner for a while, and I completely forgot about it, and I feel ashamed that I did, given how long it sat there and how much I really wanted it. But if you have seen any of the, they have like the album pops, like I have the MCR, the Black Parade pop back there. They've got like Elvis, Biggie. I've seen Shakira, no, Britney Spears, not Shakira. And they have these little lines of comic books. So they'll have a little pop of the comic book character, and then they'll have the very first issue of the comic behind them in it. So, of course, what did I do? I have the original Good Lord, that glare. The original Batman. That glare's going to piss me off. There we go. Batman comic book, issue number 1, with a little Batman pop that's modeled after, the Cape Crusader himself, right there. So this is really cool. They have like Superman. I've seen Wonder Woman. I think there's a Venom one. There's a couple, but this is number 2, which is, I'm kind of surprised. I got really close. I think number 1 is actually a Superman. But, hey, that's really wicked. That's going on the shelf. Second thing, I think I actually have shown you this before, Frank, but I guess if we're going to keep the nostalgia going, because obviously my purple lights and my purple shirt didn't give it away. I found this is just a fun little find that I found in a local little comic store that I have here that's actually run and owned by a friend of mine I went to high school with. I saw this on the shelf and I could not pass it up. But we have Mooby himself right here.
Nice.
And I love it. I said, this is the time, this is the show to, debut that. I am debating, I don't know if I should take him out of the bag. I don't know. He was up on the shelf that way, and this is a shop of like collectibles and pops and all kinds of other, comic books and whatnot, and I'm like, I don't know. I want him out, but also I'm like, but there are like holes in the bag, so I don't know. Like not holes that weren't already put there, you know what I mean? But we got Movie. He's got to go on the shelf somewhere, So I'd feel bad if I had, Kevin Smith over there and not.
I need to get me some Movies gear for when we break down Clerks 3.
I know. I trust me. I was a little bit late coming into the call because I was searching for this shirt. I was scouring for it. Damn it! I was like, it's gonna be worth it. Trust me. And I have my Clerks 3 shirt. I think somewhere in this room. Somewhere, because I remember I took this out, but I folded up the Clerks 3 shirt. I don't know where I put it. Although, I mean, no one can tell the shirt doesn't fit me, so I might have to get another one. But it's okay. I can give these to Rachel. They'll fit her.
I'm clearly going to have to educate Jennifer on what Movies is.
Or the greatest fast food establishment that has ever existed.
I can say without a doubt, and this is probably going to piss her off, Movies is better than Whataburger.
If you know what, it probably is.
She's giving me a shitty look right now. She's from Texas, so she likes the Whataburger. But
come out to Jersey, you have some movies, will change your mind.
Damn right. I'll have to look around. I know he's going on tour with this, like he did Jay and Silent Bob the reboot.
Oh, nice.
And he's supposed to be releasing, along with the trailer that's coming out on the 6th, he's supposed to be releasing some dates. He's doing the same thing again with Clerks 3, and he's going to be releasing more dates and times at Comic-Con this year.
I don't doubt
in
that.
a few
Hell yeah.
weeks. So we'll have to figure out if he's going to be somewhere near here sometime in the fall. If he's going to be in some place, Columbus, Cincinnati, something like that, somewhere where we can drive an hour or so to get there. We may have to make some plans to go do that. We might vlog that and kind of make a day out of it, because I think that'd be dope as fuck. I would love to go hear him and Jason Mewes and whoever else might be there just talk, and then see the movie like with them in the crowd, and just kind of get the whole experience. I think it'd be pretty badass.
Oh man!
But yeah, there is Jeremy's big unboxing for this week. I'm sure there'll be another one coming up soon. I really want to get to a point where I have a little bit more studio space, because I want to get more stuff, but I've been telling myself not to buy anything else, because I'm kind of here in the corner of my extended living room. So I'm like, I don't really want to move any more shit. Some of the stuff I have up I like. I don't really want to do anything until I have like a real studio space. I don't know. That's coming eventually, so we'll get there. But yeah, I definitely need to get some Kevin Smith View Askew Universe pop figures, because I don't know why. I don't know why I haven't gotten them already. You know,
like I said, the only one I could find was Kevin Smith. I don't think there's a J Mewes. Well, there is a Blutman and Chronic one. I think it's them together. So I think that's one of them. I don't know if there is one of Jay and Silent Bob. I'm gonna look now.
I want one of the Quick Stop like work shirts, the button-up shirts. I want one of those.
Oh hell yeah! Well, I was like, if I could find like one of the, like one of the Quick Stop shirts. If there's like an actual, because it's just a shirt. Like if there was like one of the movies like uniforms, or like one of the hats.
Yeah.
That not
like the
Elias.
It had the horns on.
Yeah.
It?
Yeah. One like that Elias had. Like, oh man.
I'm about to look for some of that stuff. I want to make sure it gets here before we do the review.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm already looking for stuff now. Hold on. Do I even begin to look for this? Did I say Jay and Silent Bob? I swear I know I saw a no, turn the Wi-Fi might help.
That might help. And while you're turning on your Wi-Fi, I want to say thanks.
Yeah, go on. Carry on, because it's oh, something went wrong. That sounds like a you problem. Oh, it did say something's wrong on our end. See? Amazon knows what's up. Thanks, Bezos.
Yeah, I do want to say thanks to Harry Pothead, who subscribed a couple of days ago. I played it a second ago, but I think I just switched over to his to Jeremy's camera. But yeah, thanks for subscribing. We appreciate it. Hope you stick around and share the channel with your friends. But while Jeremy's looking up what he's looking up, I am going to move on to one of our final.
Timed out.
Well, we actually have 3 topics left. Wow. Okay. Hey, but we're going to get to them. And this next one, God, I was really hoping Lady Cora was going to be here for this, because she eats this shit up. I know she does, and it seems like every time I've wanted to talk about this in some way, shape, or form, she's
not the way you think.
But yeah, not the way you think. But I mean, it's an entertainment topic. It's a movie topic from something that's been in the news a lot the last year or so, and here it is. A Lifetime movie about the tragic death of Gabby Petito was seen filming for the first time in Salt Lake City, Utah, about a week ago today, on Thursday. The film, titled The Gabby Petito Story, not a very creative title, but whatever, is being filmed as part of Lifetime's Stop Violence Against Women public affairs initiative, and will be directed by Thora Birch, who will also play the role of Gabby Petito's mother, Nicole Schmidt. According to Deadline, the movie will explore Gabby and her fiancé's Brian Laundrie's complicated relationship, and what may have gone wrong during their cross-country trip that resulted in Gabby's tragic murder. And again, this is one of those things that I know that Lady Cora was all over when that thing was dominating news headlines. Jeremy, you've probably, at least in some way, shape, or form, been exposed to the endless news coverage of the story. What do you think of the idea that they're already making a Gabby Petito movie?
Yes, but also I shouldn't have gone on. I shouldn't have gone on here to Amazon.
Because now you're shopping.
I think I'm gonna be buying. I'm not shopping anymore. Hold on. My phone's charged now. This piggybacks. Sorry, Gabby can hold on for a damn second. This is a pop. Oh my god, and not as expensive as I would have thought. Look at that. There you go.
Nice.
There's movie as a pop. And then Amazon doesn't need to tell me there's only one left. I'm like, don't tell me that.
You know they do that shit to get you to buy it, right? There's probably a warehouse full of those fucking things, and they're like, "No, there's only 2 left. Get it now."
Yeah, because I've seen one that was like, "Oh, there's 2 left," and I came back and there's 5 left again or whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever. Although this is an exclusive, and now with all this dropping, I imagine there may not be as many. They have Iron Bob, which is cool. They have a really old style Funko of Jay. There is one of Silent Bob. They're also ungodly expensive, so not. I could have got the Kevin Smith pop back there bundled with a little plush of movie. God damn it! You guys are yeah, there it is. Bluntman and Chronic, $130, which isn't that bad. 2 of them together. That's cool. They have one from the reboot. They have Jay throwing up a little rocker sign. Oh, they have him in the Fat Man jersey. Hell yeah, that was like $30. That's not bad. I think that's about it.
And Jeremy has gone to the zoo.
I went somewhere with that. So, Gabby, it feels okay. It feels too soon. I could, I don't want to say the question of how soon is too soon, because it always may feel too soon to, start to do something like this with an event, such as. But this just kind of happened in this last year, maybe not even a year yet, right? So,
yeah,
we'll see. I'm not. Okay, for everybody in the comments comes and pulls me apart, and I get canceled. It's not like that. It feels a little overblown. I'm not saying something like this happening is not worth, talking about or bringing to light. Whoever this ends up happening to, and this is, the person of, I guess people rather, her and her fiance, the people of interest in this particular story. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm just like confused as to why this was. It's a big deal, but I don't know why it was as big of a deal as it became. Because it does feel really soon to be making a movie about it. Like I don't. And also, what's the story gonna be? I mean, we know what the story is, but I just worry sometimes we jab at Hollywood for you don't have any ideas. I'm like, well, yeah, a lot of stuff has already kind of been done. There are some things you can do different or makes things that are not out there, but interesting and unique. But I mean, okay, so Tale's oldest time, the couple goes out, the guy kills her, her body's left in the woods somewhere, and he kills himself. Okay, well, I don't know what we're gonna get out of this that we don't already know. I guess. I don't know.
Well, the movie itself is supposed to serve a purpose. I mean, and they said it themselves. It's part of this initiative that they are running to help this cause. What is it? The Stop Violence Against Women Public Affairs Initiative. So, I mean, I get wanting to bring light to women who are abused. I totally get that.
Yeah.
My problem is I think there's a certain amount of. I think you have to take responsibility and make sure you're not just telling the story, you're telling it at the right time and in the correct manner.
Maybe that's what I'm trying to say.
Now, as far as the timing of it all is concerned, yes, both this girl and her boyfriend now are dead. We because of this confession that they found with his body, and they in the last several days have released to the public. We now have a general idea of what happened. At least, whatever.
What he said happened.
Yeah, we have we have his journal, which whatever.
If you saw what he said, it's kind of like that doesn't make it okay.
Yeah, you guys can go back. We talked about this Sunday on Derailed, so if you go watch the last Sunday's episode of Derailed, you can get what I thought about all that. But the thing is, to me, is that even though both Gabby Petito and her boyfriend have now passed away, and there's no real, and their stories abruptly and sadly have ended, there's still this ongoing legal thing between the parents of these two people that is not going to end anytime soon. So it's one thing to tell the story of the incident itself, but I think that this is something that's going to have a far. I mean, we're really in the middle of this marathon as far as this whole situation is concerned.
Yeah,
we're not
capitalizing on it. capitalizing on it now seems kind of weird. Like we're not there yet.
Well, but at the
Um,
same time, if you wait another 2 years for the legal stuff to play out, and sadly enough, this is how we are as humans. This is going to escape the public conscious. I mean, nobody. I mean, 2 years from now, when there is a absolute finality to this whole situation, and the legal avenues have all been explored, and maybe somebody has paid somebody else's family restitution, or at least been ordered to by the courts, whatever. By then, there's going to be 2 more stories like this that have kind of pushed that story down the ladder. There's going to be God knows what else that happens in the world and the society over the course of the next couple of years that this movie won't draw. So I get making the movie now because it's part of it's in front of us. It's still up front. So there's this strike while the iron's hot kind of mentality to making the movie, which I understand. I mean, but to me, what I'm saying is I would want the story to be more finalized before I tried making a movie out of it.
yeah, and you could still do it right. You could still make the message you're trying to make the point you're trying to make, and make I mean, not feel like it's just being made to be made. I guess in a way.
Because it does seem like a money grab.
Yeah, and I hate to say, I'm like, I feel like that's it kind of then just overshadows the point that we're trying to make, and I don't feel like that's like we're not getting that message. It's just seems. I know I'm like, yeah, you make a movie, it makes money. I don't know, but it's a weird balance that I don't really see happening here.
It even says in this article, and I read it in the lead-in, it said the movie will explore Gabby and her fiance's complicated relationship and what may have gone wrong during their cross-country trip. So they don't even really know.
Yeah, but see, we don't know. It's just whatever speculation that we can draw from. I mean, she was posting quite a bit on social media, and I'm like, you can only take so much from that. You can only through the lens that they're letting us look through, and also with the note that we that's been released now from him. Yeah, you could make a story out of that, but I'm like, we won't really know. So I don't know. How do you go about approaching this? Like, I'm sitting here, I'm trying to remember what the damn what's the town called? There's that movie, the 3 billboards outside of
yeah, Ebbing,
Missouri. Yeah, I got it. Ebbing, Missouri. Which now isn't that like still ongoing? Because that's a little different than this case, right? Like that was the point of the movie, that there was these.
Well, I think that was, as I recall, that was a cold case, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm like, it was either like it was still, like not solved, or it was ongoing,
Yeah.
and it's the. I'm like that. That kind of makes sense. That's. I don't know. I don't know. For some, it doesn't seem. This doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why. I'm. What I meant by, like, when I was talking about Cora, I was like, yeah, in the same way of me, as I'm like, I'm almost just kind of like, I don't care. I'm just like, why am I hearing about it? I'm like, I feel like I can draw the speculation that, like, yeah, something was not right between these two, clearly. We don't know. We don't personally know them. And I mean, I guess now knowing what he scribbled in his little diary before going to bed and deciding to put her out of her misery, I guess is the best way I'm going to describe that. That doesn't make it okay.
Yeah, BJ says in the chat, too soon for her family. Actually, if you think about it, there's a good I mean, for me personally, I totally get that. I wouldn't want, if that were my daughter, I wouldn't be ready for this thing to be made into some kind of a Lifetime TV movie, which is going to be way over emotional and way dramatic anyway. It's probably going to be a pretty weird telling of this whole situation. But her family may have signed off on this.
Yeah, I mean, but my point is, like, it's not like this thing wasn't absolutely blown the hell up over social media, over just news media, period. So it's not like no one doesn't know about it. Or like you said, you could ask somebody and they probably well know, like you said, have been exposed to at least some part of this this story that took place.
Yeah, because the way I see it, like Gabby Petito's family may have signed off on it and even maybe get some royalties from it, which makes sense because, like I said, this legal battle is going to go for a while. And I know it seems like it's happening fast right now because they're talking about it a lot in the news. But, I mean, legal stuff doesn't always happen fast. And they're going to get to a point where lawyers are going to start filing this, filing that, delaying this, delaying that. And that's what drags cases like this out on for years. And that costs a lot of money. So maybe her family goes ahead and signs off on this thing thinking we're going to get a couple bucks in royalties. We're just going to put that money back into... Well, for one, I think they already started a foundation in her name to help battered
I
women
was
or
going to say,
something
probably...
like that. But also to help cover legal fees, because this whole lawsuit thing that they've got going on against his family is not going to be the cheapest... it's not going to be a cheap bill. I mean, lawyers are expensive if you're lucky. If you're innocent, lawyers can be expensive, let alone if you're going to have some big protracted legal thing. So maybe they went ahead and signed off on this just to get a check out of it to help with the legal fees. I don't know.
And maybe they can get... I mean, I'm sure they have some sort of insight into this story, too. Like, they could, they have input on it as well. Because, I mean, didn't you say, someone's playing her mom?
Thora Birch, and that's one of the things that's blowing my mind about this whole thing, is I really... the whole time I thought she was 12. She's only, 6 years younger than I am. And I'm like, damn. I feel like Thora Birch has been a kid forever. She's actually 40 years old.
Jesus.
And I'm like, good, because I was reading this article and it said that she's playing her mother, and I'm like, Thora Birch is 17. How is she going to play this girl's mother? And then I looked at it and I was like, no shit, she's 40 years old. And I was like, holy hell! I've only ever remembered her as a child, because she's been a child actor forever, and everything I've seen her in has been. As I try to make sure my microphone doesn't start getting staticky again, everything I've ever seen her in has been her playing fairly young characters. So that's just how I always see her when I think of when somebody says Thora Birch. But she's actually 40 years old, and she's going to be playing her mother Nicole, and she's also directing it, of course. But I hope this movie does. I hope it does good by bringing attention to this issue. But at the same time, I don't want to bring attention to the issue, and at the same time, kind of make a caricature of her and what she went through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because look, it's going to be on Lifetime. We all know the stigma with Lifetime movies is they're over emotional, over dramatic, and a lot of times, even if they're based on true stories, the story itself gets kind of lost in the display, the acting is all over the top. It gets kind of lost, and it's really tough to take these stories seriously when somebody's constantly crying into a camera about whatever they're going through. So I don't want it to. I want this movie to be something that more dramatic and not so much this cry fest that is going to have millions of women all over the country eating bonbons with a box of Kleenex next to them, dabbing tears away from their face every 30 seconds because they're all so heartbroken. I don't want the story to get lost in that.
Yeah, I'll say where it's like one of those really obnoxiously overacted soap operas that I'm just like,
yeah,
it's a specific feel, and oh my god, I'm just now realizing who Thora Birch is. What the hell? You can't sit here she was on Walking Dead for fuck's sake. I didn't realize that was her. She played played Gamma. She was the the sister that killed her other sister because of Alpha. That was weird. And we just, coming back to Hocus Pocus, she was also in that. That's wild.
Why did I not have a graphic set up for Ghostbusters? But yeah, that's my biggest fear, is that this whole thing is just going to end up being like a cartoon. And
holy shit, she was Danny. Jesus.
I know, right? It makes me feel old.
That hurts.
Like I said, it's like I when you say Thora Birch, I think of her playing some teenager. That's all I've ever really seen.
Yeah.
And now it's like, wait a minute, she's 40? Because I actually had to pull it up and look. I was like, holy hell, she's 40? I was like, god damn.
Because like I said, not just, but a year or two, maybe 3 ago. Like I said, when they were doing the Whispers on Walking Dead, I was like, I thought she was in her early 30s, maybe. Maybe 20s. She looked really young. Lord.
Yeah, but I don't know. As always, we care about what you guys think. So don't forget also, I'll leave the poll up to the end of the show. So far, 10 of you have voted. Anybody who comes in, don't forget to let everybody know to vote. Is it too soon for a movie about the death of Gabby Petito? And right now, it's pretty lopsided. 9 out of the 10 of you have voted, have all said yes. You see, again, I think it's a tougher... I think the question is a little bit tougher than just that. Is it too soon? Yeah. If you want to tell the complete story, it's far too soon. But at the same time, there's things that we know, or at least that we can suspect that we are pretty confident in them being true. So, So maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I personally I would want to tell the complete story if I were a filmmaker and not just a part of it. Because I remember when I was in high school and the whole thing with the Branch Davidians in Waco, Texas was going on. They came out with a TV movie about that before the whole thing had even wrapped up.
Well then,
Like the whole attack on the compound happened like as they were like editing this whole thing up, because the movie itself only goes up to when the FBI and ATF or whoever was there first attacked the compound. And then like everything else, and then as they were doing the editing or post-production is when everything played itself out. So they had this really long epilogue, and I was just like, why didn't you guys just wait another 6 months to make this damn movie? It's like, I mean, why? How do you? I mean, why not wait until the whole story? It's like, why tell the story when the story is only halfway through? I don't know. I just don't get it. But anyway, go down in the comments and let us know what you guys think. Is it too soon for a Gabby Petito movie? They've cast, really the only person with a name that's attached to this right now is Thora Birch. The other two actors, they haven't even announced the names yet. And I mean, there's that picture of them, sure, but I don't recognize them, I don't know who they are. So go down in the comments and go down in the comments below. Let us know what you guys think of the Gabby Petito film. Moving on to our next story. It looks like the next Ghostbusters movie is going to be hitting theaters on December 20th of 2023. The sequel is a follow-up to director Jason Reitman's Ghostbusters Afterlife, which at long last revived the marquee franchise for Sony. The studio announced the high-profile 2023 release date on Tuesday. Earlier this month on Ghostbusters Day, Reitman and co-writer Gil Keenan confirmed what the end credits of Ghostbusters Afterlife had hinted at, that the live-action sequel will return to the original film's New York City and firehouse settings. Ghostbusters Afterlife, which debuted in theaters on November of 2021, earned more than $200 million at the global box office, despite the still being very much in the pandemic. Jeremy, you and I have both seen Ghostbusters Afterlife probably multiple times at this point. What do you think of the idea of them coming up with a sequel? What will be the fourth in the actual Ghostbusters storyline, but the fifth film? Of the Ghostbusters franchise.
Shut. It's the fourth movie. I mean, I'm not shocked because I mean how it ended. I kind of figured that's where we were headed. Like, what shocked me is I'm like, okay, this isn't set in New York City with well, obviously the OG cast, but this movie weirdly worked. The Afterlife weirdly worked for me. But it gave me a lot of questions because I'm like, why is the Ecto-1 sitting in some barn like rusting away? Like what happened here? Like, and the movie did a good job of setting it up, telling us what happened, and it was a nice kind of roundabout way to kind of come back, because that last shot of them obviously driving the Ecto-1 back to New York City, I'm like, oh, okay, are we going to keep doing this? Because I'm here for it. Like with what I'm assuming that Ernie Hudson's character is going to kind of be like their benefactor, keeping them going, giving them money to finance catching ghosts again. So I'm kind of excited. Like, I feel like it still flows the way it should. I mean, even... I hope it's not just Ernie Hudson. I'm hoping that Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd want to have some part in it as well, or at least cameos or something. I don't know, because I know Bill Murray's just mildly annoyed by it too. He's kind of like Harrison Ford when they talk about Star Wars. He's like, I don't care.
Well, there's other questions surrounding Bill Murray. I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, but. I'm excited. Shit. I mean, I'm totally okay with this kind of... This almost feels like that we were just talking about last week with the Marvel thing. Like, we had our Infinity Saga, and that's what we started with and set up, and it's like, okay, now we're kind of setting up these young Avengers, this like second generation of superheroes coming to be, and I'm like, this feels kind of nice in that same transitional way. So,
yeah,
I'm here for more ghosts.
I really, really liked Ghostbusters Afterlife. I thought it was a great movie. I thought it was fun. I thought it was very much in the spirit of the original, and more than anything else, and I said this in my quick review that I did out of the theater, is it was it was a love letter to Harold Ramis, who we
Oh,
lost several years ago, who was one of the people that really wanted to get a third Ghostbusters film done. It wouldn't work he couldn't get it to work in his lifetime for a lot of reasons, but they still managed to make him a significant part in the film, and I thought they did it brilliantly. I think Jason Reitman did a great job. I would have been perfectly fine with it ending there. I mean, because one of the things I don't like, now, as a baseball fan, one of the things that I've seen is these great players that I grew up watching when I was a kid or that I've watched all my life, they get to the end of their careers and they just can't seem to let go. They're just around because they don't know what else they have. And I don't want to see... I mean, because Ghostbusters Afterlife was the sequel I wanted. I think right there you could end it on a great note. I like Ghostbusters 2 more than a lot of Ghostbusters fans do. I think it's a fun movie. Is it as good as the original? Not even close. But it's still a fun Ghostbusters movie. And, the all-girl Ghostbusters movie was fun and funny, but it wasn't Ghostbusters. It wasn't anywhere near what I wanted out of that movie. So this was like, it was a great way to say, you know what, we're going to end the Ghostbusters franchise on a high note. We had Jason Reitman, the son of Ivan Reitman, doing it. We had Ivan Reitman heavily involved right before he passed away. We had a great cast with Finn Wolfhard and the girl that played the daughter. I forget her name. And then you get what's his name? Ant-Man. Why am I drawing a blank?
Paul Rudd.
Yeah, Paul Rudd, his comedic timing is gold.
Mm-hmm.
My only problem with the movie, of course, is that you took it out of New York, and New York is kind of a character in every movie that it's in. But it worked for me. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot wrong with that movie, so I liked it a lot, and I was happy with that being kind of the finality. That's my worry, is I don't want this to drag... It's like, dude, this is what I've been saying about the Fast and the Furious franchise. Like, this franchise died 4 movies ago. I don't know why they keep resurrecting it. Well, I do know, because, like idiots, we keep buying tickets to go see this fucking thing. But
I don't.
But creatively, I think this franchise died 4 movies ago. I just don't think it's been any good. I think adding The Rock probably injected a little bit of newness into it, but I mean, after that, it's like, what now? They're driving cars really fast and doing crazy shit. That's not unique. It's not new. So that's my worry, is that they're not going to keep this franchise fresh. They're not going to be able to evolve it to a point to where we're not just rehashing shit over and over again. That said, Jason Reitman did a great job. And if there is new stories to be told with new Ghostbusters, I'm down to let him try it. I mean,
I have faith in it.
Oh yeah, after seeing Afterlife, I am 100% down with him trying at least another one. But I'm hoping that they're smart enough to look at this like when another sequel comes out, they look at it and say, is what we're doing building on this property, building on this legacy, or is what we're doing just making another movie for money, just because it's the Ghostbusters name and it's going to sell a certain amount of tickets just because it's Ghostbusters, but we're really adding to this mythology. That's my worry. Now, what I would like to see is maybe Finn Wolfhard and the girl in the movie, and maybe Paul Rudd, and maybe a couple of new people come in and be the new Ghostbusters, and have, like you said, have like Ernie Hudson and Dan Aykroyd's characters. Just kind of be these guys. They're kind of in more than a cameo, but they're not main players.
Yeah,
they're just kind of shepherding this new group of Ghostbusters that is now fighting some new threat. Maybe, hey, we went back to Gozer the Gozerian. Why not go back to Vigo the Carpathian and try to fix some of the things that were wrong in the second movie?
That's true.
I mean,
you could do that.
Because one of the things that worried me about Afterlife is I was like, do you really want to go back to Gozer? Why not do a new thing? But they managed to dig way deeper into a deeper mythology of that whole story and tell me shit that we never even touched on in the first film.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of callbacks to the selenium and the material they used to build that building that was the center of the first movie anyway, and the selenium mines is where they were at in this film. So, but I don't know. I just don't want it to be like, I don't want it to become Fast and Furious. We're just making it because it's a Ghostbusters movie and Ghostbusters fans want to go see it. I don't know. I just want to approach these very carefully.
This movie, I can just suspend my disbelief that, it's science fiction of catching ghosts.
Yeah.
Fast and the Furious is, I'm like, okay, I'm drawing the line of you putting a car into fucking space and making it do backflips and barrel rolls, and screw you. Like, come on. Go back to the street racing and crap like that. Like, man, and I'd be all for it. Because I liked the first, 3 movies, and I played Need for Speed as a kid. Like, I loved that. I loved all that stuff, and then it's like, it'd be a little too much. But, catching ghosts and driving cars into space is it's two different things. I don't know. Nobody tell Elon Musk if he shows up in Ghostbusters, I'll be really pissed.
But look, it also for one, it was that final scene of Ghostbusters Afterlife that made people wonder. And then, of course, there's the post-credit scenes, which I don't think I'm spoiling for anybody at this point. The movie's been out on secondary media on home video for a while now. Is the closing scene of the movie, which I actually thought was a brilliant ending. It just showed the Ecto with its sirens on driving across the Brooklyn Bridge back into Manhattan. And I was like, I don't think that necessarily needed to mean that the Ghostbusters were back fighting ghosts. I just think that was a great image to have to kind of finalize things. Because that's the image we'd always had of Ecto-1, of them tearing around corners going after Slimer in, on like Fifth Avenue, going into some fancy jewelry shop and just blowing shit apart with their proton guns. It's like that's the great visuals in the first two movies, but then the post-credit scenes, where there was really great dialogue with Ernie Hudson and Annie Potts, and I was kind of like, man, why wasn't this in the body of the film? That was a great post-credit scene, where you have that visual of like the doors opening to the old firehouse and the car pulling in, and like Ernie Hudson talking to the car, like
touches like, we're gonna fix you up.
I'm gonna get some parts. I'm gonna fix you up, and I was just like, damn, that's good stuff.
Oh yeah.
So maybe I don't know. There's probably plenty more stories to tell. There's plenty more ghosts to be busted. But again, I fear that it's going to turn into I just fear that it's going to turn into the Fast and the Furious. I just want to make sure that the movies stay fresh, that they stay fun, and they stay to the core of what the franchise is. That's my worry.
Somebody needs to make a meme of I want somebody to look at me the way Ernie Hudson looks at the Ecto-1.
Yeah. Touch it gently and be like, I'm going to fix you.
Okay, maybe not that. We don't need a Pretty Woman situation.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, we care about what you guys think, so go down in the comments below. Let us know what you guys think about the possibility of a sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife, returning to New York and fighting all brand new ghosts. Now, on one of the points I wanted to make about Bill Murray is that it's unknown if Murray was planned for a return in a potential sequel or not. That could prove potentially complicated. Murray was starring in Aziz Ansari's Searchlight film Being Mortal when it was shut down in April after the studio received complaints about his behavior on set. I think we talked about that a few months ago. But I mean, honestly, I don't think you really need the original cast, at least the surviving original cast, to play that big of a part in it. They can shepherd the next generation on. I would like to see more Sigourney Weaver in a sequel.
That's true. Even though that was a fun ending, I was like, it came full circle.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have seen her in the body of the film and not just a post-credit scene. It was a good post-credit scene, and it was funny, and I liked it. But but it's Sigourney Weaver. You're never going to go wrong putting her in front of a camera.
No. Now when I watched the credits, and they kind of do it dirty. They're like going through all the credits of all the people, and they're like, and Sigourney Weaver. I'm like, where? And then scene. I was like, oh, fuck you. And then boom, there she is. I'm like, okay.
You lying sons of bitches. Playing with my heart here. You're playing with my heart.
You had me. You're like, and Sigourney Weaver. I'm like, where the hell was she? Oh, and then there she was.
I also didn't think Bill Murray funny, shocking Bill Murray with that same machine, though. I thought that was a pretty cool callback. But anyway, get in the comments below. Let us know what you guys think about a sequel for Ghostbusters Afterlife. And I forgot to put a whole nother graphic up. So while I'm doing that, oh good God! I thought I had everything done. I was sitting over there watching TV earlier. I was like, I got everything done.
Yeah, JSP brings up a good point. Talking about the real Ghostbusters series. I actually did watch it. I did watch a little bit of that.
The animated thing that had didn't Dave Coulier do the voice for Venkman or something like that?
Something, yeah.
I watched a little bit of it. I wasn't like really into it, but
it was fun. I mean, it's not. It felt a little weird because I'm like, I don't know, I'm just used to the movies. But
I think about then I was busy watching shit like Darkwing Duck.
That's fair.
That was my after school shit back in the day.
That's fair. I wasn't alive, so yeah, that's fair.
Okay, now I have my graphic up for the next topic. Man, I can't believe I forgot to put 2 whole graphics up. That's embarrassing. Anyway,
that's okay.
On to our next story. Rob Zombie is pretty wild for what he's doing with the new Munsters film. But he has announced that Butch Patrick has joined Pat Priest, who played Marilyn Munster after taking over the role from Beverly Owen. as the two original Munsters cast members to appear in Rob Zombie's film based on the '60s TV show. The inclusion of Butch Patrick and Patty Priest is exciting for longtime fans of the Munsters, and continues Rob Zombie's time-honored tradition of offering roles to older actors who helped shape the genre so many of us love, long after Hollywood has forgotten about them. You know, we haven't really talked a whole lot about this, except for here and there, but yeah, there's another Munsters film being made by Rob Zombie, and it's coming out soon. Jeremy, you're the horror guy, but I don't know. Is this horror or is it comedy? That's what's tripping me out here. What do you think about Rob Zombie doing a Munsters movie?
I mean, I like to think of it kind of in the same vein as like the Addams Family. It's not really horror, but it's, I don't know. See, we just kind of talked about that with Halloween Town. Jesus, that too. Hocus Pocus. You'll see what I'm saying here. Like Hocus Pocus, and then like, you know, Friday the 13th. Like, it's Halloween stuff. It's spooky stuff, but it's different. Not different. Well, it's different vibes. I don't want to say maybe if there's a definition of these, I guess, so-called subgenres of Halloween stuff. I don't know. That's the same boat I would put it in. But I mean, man, I'm excited. I'm here for it. It's like when you look at something and you're like, yes, that is how you do it. You know, like just recently when they brought, I mean, obviously you bring back Ewan McGregor to play Obi-Wan Kenobi, but you bring back Hayden Christensen to play Anakin Skywalker. I mean, that one cold open, the second to last episode, I wasn't even ready for that. They pan out and then there they are in their Attack of the Clones outfit and just gonna have the duel. I'm like, oh my god, we're doing this. Oh my good god. Okay, here we go. Oh my god. Like, you know, if that somebody clipped that. That was my reaction to that, and also my reaction to hearing this news. But I mean, how can you go wrong? Like you're paying respect to the fact that, like, you know, these people shaped this show and this series into what it is. And if you're gonna do something like that, hey, why not throw it back in there? Because, you know, you're gonna excite people. I'm excited. Even if you didn't have them in there, I want to see more. I'm always down for some Munsters and Addams Family, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. Is Rob Zombie's made like House of a Thousand Corpses. He did his couple of remakes of the Halloween franchise. So he's a horror guy. But the Munsters isn't horror.
No.
It's the famous monsters, it's Dracula and Frankenstein and whatnot, but it's much more comedy. It's kind of like Full House, only the characters are all movie monsters. That's kind of what it was.
It's kind of got the, I mean, in the '60s, it's still got that kind of like family values kind of thing. Like they still have the important messages. But it's like when you tell, I mean, you can tell through the lens of any, you know, whatever suburban family. But like you tell through this, it's kind of that's what makes it kind of fun. It's like I guess you do. Yeah, excuse me. Do through something like the Munsters or Addams Family, you're like, well, these people aren't normal, but they're like, that's their normal to them. Like we're weird, you know what I mean? But it's still all the same message at the end of the day. They're like, you know, treat people with kindness and shit like that. But, you know, be who you want to be.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm interested in this because I don't know if because one of the things that what is it, I'm drawing a blank. What We Do in the Shadows. No, that's not it. What's the one that Tim Burton and Johnny Depp did several years ago where he was like a vampire? God damn it, I'm drawing a blank.
Was it just called Dark Shadows?
Maybe that was it. Yeah, Dark Shadows was it. Because when Dark Shadows was based on a TV show from I think the late '60s, early '70s, that had kind of a mix of like comedy and drama, but he tried to make it a much darker story, and it kind of threw everything off.
Dark Shadows,
yeah.
Yes.
And it kind of threw the balance off, and I didn't really think it was all that good. I think if he just stuck with kind of a balance of comedy and drama, with a little bit of monster aspects, that it probably would have been a better film. But he just tried to go all drama and make it really dark, and I was like, not really working for me. Well, I don't know what Rob Zombie's intentions are with this. That's my biggest fear.
Well, yeah, because I mean, we know how Rob Zombie is. If you've seen House of a Thousand Corpses, if you've seen the Halloween remakes, that's his vibe.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Like this scene with the young Michael Myers and his family life. I'm like, that's where we're going.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you think about that, the Halloween franchise, it took it to a more, well, I guess by that standards in the late '70s, but compared to now, it seems pretty tame, and we're all pretty desensitized to some. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the new Halloweens, I'm like, you stabbed dude about 30 some damn times, and then decided, oh, the last knife, I'm gonna hold on to that, and I'm like, oh, okay. And you just put a fluorescent bulb through someone's neck. I'm like, holy crap, we're being brutal. But that's inherent. I mean, but that's inherently what these slasher movies are. And his own little child of House of a Thousand Corpses, that series. That's what gave rise to the, I think he called it Killbillies. I'm like, yeah. So, woo, you don't have somebody look at you, blood on their face, say, I am the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's work. I'm like, oh, good lord. Okay. And someone as fantastic as the late great Sid Haig, who brings someone like Captain Spaulding, who's one of my favorite people in horror. Like, just Sid Haig, but then like Captain Spaulding. Love it. Because they are one and the same, I think, in a way. But this isn't something, like you said, this isn't something that's in that kind of genre. This is I guess I could call it a family show, but a slightly spooky comedy horror show. So I feel like you'd want to remain true to it, but I don't know. I don't think he's gonna, have them dropping F-bombs every other sentence and, stabbing the neighbors and lighting their dogs on fire. You know what I mean? Having a campfire.
Yeah, actually, he's already got it out there what Butch Patrick is going to be playing. There was a episode in season 1, episode 7 of the Munsters called Tin Can Man, and it centers around the dilemma of young Eddie Munster, who was played by Butch Patrick back in the '60s, who was facing expulsion from school. In a stroke of genius, he and his grandpa Dracula decide that they will build a fully functioning robot for Eddie's science fair project and create the titular Tin Can Man. And as we learned today, Rob Zombie's anticipated cinematic adaptation of the Munsters will feature the ridiculous robot, who, in a full circle of brilliance, will be played by OG Eddie Munster himself. So Butch Patrick will be playing the Tin Can robot.
That's awesome.
And of course, Rob Zombie made the announcement on Instagram and whatnot. But I'm interested, really, really interested.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I don't know about the Rob Zombie's horror sensibilities with something that is supposed to be lighthearted and comedic. Now, I want him to get it out of the park. I want him to crush it.
I feel like he could do it because I feel like this is something he probably was into back in the day, or something that he grew up with. I feel like I don't know. I don't think he wouldn't. I don't think there's any reason to believe he wouldn't do it justice. Already got a hilarious tie-in to the fact that that's an episode that he did as a kid with that robot, and now he's playing that robot 50 some years later. I mean, that's hilarious. That's awesome.
It's better than an Easter egg. It's like an Easter egg that's better than an Easter egg.
Yeah, you're not just having like a quick little cameo. You're like, no, you're flat out, you're doing this, and that already gives me some more hope that I think this is gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm interested. I mean, I've liked some of the horror stuff that Rob Zombie's done. Some of it hasn't really hit that well, but I mean, some of it's been good. But again, this is a different beast. There's a lot of comedy involved here. I don't know how much experience he has doing comedic stuff. Now, some of the horrors he's done has had like one-liners and jokes. But
I was like, don't you like clowns, boy? Yeah. Don't we make you laugh?
But don't. But but don't for a moment think that because you can tell one joke means that you can tell 2 hours of jokes. You know what I mean? I can tell a joke, but if I were to jump up on stage and try to do a stand-up routine right now, I'd probably bomb. So, but I don't know. I remain intrigued because Rob Zombie's he's shown some balls as a director. He's done some pretty good things. But again, this is a much different kind of movie.
And we all know. We know one person who's definitely going to be in this. Who's Sherry Moon going to play?
Oh, she's playing, not Morticia. Why am I calling her Morticia? The wife.
Did she really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's already, if you go look at his Instagram, he's already got pictures of her in full costume and stuff.
Oh, well, fuck me. I'm not even paying attention, am I? I mean, I guess if I would have thought past my own damn question, that probably would have made more sense. Hey, you know what? If you want to, you want to make Sherry Moon Zombie the next Morticia Addams too, I'm fine with that.
Hey, I'm down.
I'm so down.
Let's do it. Yeah,
or you know what? Or make Christina Ricci Morticia Addams. That'd make a little more sense.
Well, you know, she's actually going to be in an Addams Family thing coming up.
Yeah, there is that thing. Or I mean, I saw that thing that I think I was actually over at your place when we saw like she went in the full drab of like compared to.
She's not actually playing Morticia. She's actually playing like the like headmistress of some school that Wednesday Addams is going to.
Yeah, and like there is like that new series, about Wednesday Addams.
Yeah,
so
that's what it is. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Okay. If it's that same, okay, yeah, I'm here for that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'll give that a go too. But as always, we care about what you guys think. So go down in the comments below, let us know. What do you think of Rob Zombie making a Munsters theatrical film? Do you think that his horror sensibilities are going to play well with the largely comedic Munsters characters and storylines? I'm cautiously optimistic. I want this movie to be very, very good. I think it will be pretty good. But again, he's used to just doing a lot of the blood and gut stuff, and this is kind of a different animal. So get on the comments below and let us know what you guys think. Now, before we get out of here, I do want to go to the chat and see what some of you guys have been saying about some of the things we've been talking about tonight. Let's see. Cole Bone Show says, I think it was a fun movie, but not a big fan of Bette Midler. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of some of her political beliefs, but I mean, look, you can't deny talent. And when you get somebody like her or Meryl Streep in front of a camera and they just do what they do and they act the shit out of a character, you've got to appreciate the art. It's like I don't like I have an artist friend of mine who me and her don't see eye to eye at all on anything political, but I look at the way she paints and I'm like, good God, I am blown away. I'm blown away at her artistry. I'm blown away at her talent, her ability, how naturally it comes to her. And me and her have been friends forever because of it, because that admiration is more important than the differences we have in other stuff. So
it doesn't get in the way.
Yeah, it doesn't get in the way of any of that shit. So
that's cool.
So whatever. I mean, look, if you really, really knew half the people that you like in celebrity or sports or anything else, if you really knew those people, you'd probably be like, you're kind of a dick and I don't want to watch your movies or read your books or listen to your music anymore. I mean, you got to separate the art from the artist sometimes, and that's what I do when it comes to all this stuff, because just because they have different viewpoints than me doesn't mean that they're not actually very, very talented at what they do. BJ says, did Top Gun pass Jurassic in money? I actually think
I looked that up. Yeah, I think it did.
I think this
like
week,
you said,
I think this week was really, really close.
Yeah, we do still have some time. That was like 4 or 5 days ago, a thing I read, which is the closest thing I could find.
Yeah, but Jurassic Park, now total box office, Top Gun has passed Jurassic Park by a fair bit, but Jurassic Park I think still has a little bit more legs. I don't know that Jurassic Park can get to $1 billion. I kind of hope it does. I really like the movie, but
I think you mean it has more teeth.
Yes, more teeth. It has a few more teeth to buy some stuff off.
He's not here for the good jokes.
Colbone Show says, I enjoyed Top Gun. I just hope it's a decent movie. Top Gun was really popular. Oh, back in 86, I think, when the original came out, it was tremendously popular. This movie, I think, honestly, if you haven't seen it yet, I think this movie's every bit as good, maybe even better in some spots. There's a lot of fan service in it, which is fine. There's a lot of weird callbacks, like at the end of the movie when instead of, I mean, I don't want to give too much of it away for those who haven't seen it yet, but when they're in the cockpit together and they're flying around, he turns around and says, "Talk to me, Rooster." And there's little dialogue cues that are great callbacks. The scene in the bar when Rooster is playing piano, like that to me was a brilliant scene, because he's playing the piano. I'm not going to get too spoiler here, but I mean, we're a spoiler channel anyway, so I'll just say this. Him and his group of aviators are just sitting around there and they're jamming out to Rooster playing the piano, and he's playing Great Balls of Fire, just like his old man did in that scene from the original movie. And Tom Cruise's character is outside looking through the window seeing this, and like that moment of him kind of looking back in time through through this window and what's happening, it was a stunningly good scene. I think the movie is still amazingly shot. But what's up, TSS2? We're getting ready to close up here. Just wanted to go down some of these comments. Let's see. He said, not a huge fan of Tom Cruise either. Well, like I said, I mean, people are weird. You just appreciate their art, not the artist. That's the best you can do these days. BJ says, I don't like Tom. Well, he's weird.
But I said right after that, I don't either.
You say, drop the Scientology and I get more on board. Well, I mean, yeah. Hey, look,
yeah, I would.
I said it the other day when we were talking about Johnny Depp. I was like, he's basically Tom Cruise is basically second in command of a cult. I don't know how else I don't know how else to put it other than that. But
I know.
Whatever. And I don't want to offend anybody out there that you watching who's Scientologist. I'm just saying.
Because you're going to be in a trunk somewhere, and we're not going to hear from you again.
Yeah, Cold Bone Show says it's a good thing they didn't involve politics in Top Gun. Yeah, it was a smart move because it doesn't get you hemmed up in the real world stuff. It keeps you into the story of this. It's a contained story of this film. And that was an important thing to do, because if you'd have made it too real world, you would have started dealing with a lot of the real world political stuff. It would have become convoluted. You would have probably turned off a segment of your audience. By keeping things very, very contained, you made that movie better. You were able to concentrate on the characters and the situation that they're in, the emotional struggles that Rooster and Maverick have. It's so much more focus on these characters and what the situation they're in, without trying to fold in all the stuff that's happening in the real world. I think it was a great idea what they did. Let's see. Cora popped in for a minute. They have a great show, gentlemen. Thank you, Lady Cora. She'll be back next week, I hope. Let's see. Hopefully you guys all voted in the poll. I'll be closing out here in a second. Jennifer asked, what is Movies? I'm going to explain to her what Movies is. You know what? I'm going to sit her down and we're going to watch.
Just watch the movies.
At least Clerks 2. I don't know if she'll get Clerks 1. It's a very independent film. I love it. But we're at least going to watch Clerks 2. I love it. Yeah, we're definitely going to break those down at some point. Once July 6th rolls around and we get a final date that we're actually going to be getting Clerks 3, we'll make the arrangements to break down Clerks 1 and 2, and then the week later do 3, just like we do with the Jurassic Park stuff. Let's see. BJ says, too soon for a family. Maybe so. We don't know if they had anything to do with it or not. JSP popping in. What's going on with you, my man? He says, Lifetime television for depressed women. Yeah, sometimes, yeah. He said, JSP says, we might also want to take time to remember that on June 28th, 2 days ago, 47 years ago, the TV world lost a brilliant mind, Rod Serling, who passed away in the operating table on June 28th of 75. Good God, is Twilight Zone not maybe one of the top 5 most iconic television shows in history?
That's something I've actually watched the entirety of, and I'm kicking myself that I haven't watched the new stuff with Jordan Peele.
I've watched a ton of Twilight Zone stuff over the years because my dad was a big fan of the show as I was a kid, and every now and again I'll stumble across an episode that even I haven't seen. I honestly, I thought to a point that I had seen them all at some point. I haven't sat down and watched like episode 1 to the very end. I haven't binge watched it. Yeah. But it's like, I've watched so many of them. I'm like, I wonder if there's an episode that I haven't seen. And every now and again, I'll stumble across one that I haven't seen. Now, the most iconic ones I've seen 2 or 3 times. But yeah, every now and again, I'll stumble across. I'm like, holy shit, I've never seen this before, and I get wrapped up in it.
I love it.
JSP said it was 2 months before he was born. Well, me and you are both old, pal. I'll be
sure if you will.
I'll be 46 in a week. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Let's see. If I'm not mistaken, David Koresh was played by Tim Daly. In that miniseries that I was mentioning, if they had filmed and completed and aired really right around the time that the whole Branch Davidian thing in Waco had summed up, it was Tim Daly that played it. I actually really liked Tim Daly in that show. I haven't watched that in several years, but he was very, very convincing as David Koresh. I thought now there was actually that new one. I know me and Drew had talked about it over on Derailed. I don't know, probably a year or so ago when it came out. There was one called. There was a miniseries called Waco that came out on Netflix that was also very good, but towards the end they kind of lost me because they overlooked some of the stuff about the Branch Davidians that was significant to the story for me overall. So. And they tried to make them more sympathetic, which I thought was kind of like, well, I have sympathy for the people that were there, but you can't edit out certain facts that we know are true to try to make them out to be the victims. It's like maybe the government did or didn't do some things that were kind of shitty, but I mean you can't offset that by rewriting history to make them more sympathetic. I didn't really understand that.
That sounds like a video game I played. You can't make somebody the villain and make me play them for half the game to try to make me sympathize with them. Like, nope, fuck you, and I don't care about you. I don't care what you tell me about them. Whoa. I'll mention that in the ending. Cool. I have something coming up in mind, so about a particular series that I like. So, go on, carry on.
Let's see, where did I lose my chat? Let's see. I would go see Ghostbusters. BJ, you didn't see Ghostbusters? Did your mom see the new Ghostbusters?
Oh yeah. You think I didn't take my mom to go see Ghostbusters? Come on.
Oh well, the way she said, I'm guessing she meant maybe the sequel that's coming up. Okay.
Yeah, but I think we were still talking about like, would you go see the sequel? And we're like, yeah. So
JSP said, did any of you collect the real Ghostbusters series? I didn't collect it. I mean, I watched it. Venkman was originally voiced by Lorenzo Music Garfield and replaced by Dave Coulier. Okay, that makes sense. I remember Dave Coulier, but I don't remember the early stuff.
Hey, Ghost, cut it out.
Cut it out. God, I hated when he did that. It was so corny.
Come on, it was a funny time.
JSP says Winston was also voiced for Arsenio Hall. That I knew. I knew that.
Nice.
And the Goon has subscribed to the channel. Thank you, Goon. We appreciate that. Hey. We hope you like what you see and you share the channel around all your friends. Let's see. Dark Shadows. JSP was telling me the name of the show as I was drawing a blank. He said the Dark Shadows with goth drama. The movie was comedic. I didn't think the Dark Shadows movie was all that funny. Now, maybe I didn't get the comedy, but I just didn't think the movie was all that funny. I thought they tried to. I don't know if they tried to balance it out, they just missed it a lot. I don't know. The movie just didn't hit with me. Let's see. So then again, they turned children's Saturday morning TV shows from the early '70s into laughable horror movies. The Banana Splits.
Hey, we watched that.
It's back there somewhere, but yeah, we watched that.
You're welcome.
That was a funny, entertaining movie. Was it good? No, but it was fun and entertaining.
But it was entertaining.
It's the Jeremy jumps in the chat. Says basically it's Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Like it's basically because that one at least gets a little, like he said, that was a real thing, so that makes it inherently a little bit more creepy that it was an actual show from, I think it was the 70s or 60s or something like that. But kind of turns it into these shows are inherently kind of creepy when you go back and watch them, especially now. But sure, they're animatronics that kill people and kids. I'm like, that's. And then I discovered Willy's Wonderland by the wonderful Nicolas Cage, and I'm like, yep, that's Five Nights at Freddy's as well, but it's Nicolas Cage. So
I'll have to go see. I still haven't
take those two things, and it's exactly what you think it is.
I still haven't seen that. I need to. I need.
Please watch it. Oh my god, it was so funny.
But then TSS2 jumps in the chat, says, what's up? What's going on with you, my brother? Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. JSP says, I still prefer Crocodile Dundee over Top Gun. Now he's taking a piss. Look, Crocodile Dundee's are fun movies, but I mean, come on. Top Gun's superior, let's be honest.
You're not going to walk up to him and be like, ass a knife, and he just flies over with a fucking F-16, kills him. Like, that was
shoots
over.
Him with his minigun. Let's see. Fezlove saying, good show, Truth. Thank you, Fezlove. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. TSS2 says, the only clip of Clerks I've ever seen was that scene where the dude talks about his girlfriend cheating on him. That's one of the... Well, if you haven't seen the entire movie, let me say it gets funnier than that.
Oh, yeah.
Wait till you see how it turns out for his girlfriend. Anyway.
Not all girls bring you lasagna at work, man.
Yeah.
Most of them just cheat on you.
Yeah. Trying to suck any dicks when you walk through the parking lot. That's all I'm saying.
All at once?
All at once? Well, at least I wasn't number 38. Yeah.
Don't suck any dick on the way to the parking lot, and that one guy just looks and walks away.
It's like, what? Just watch the movie if you haven't seen Clerks. It's a great comedy.
It is.
Let's see. Tex, what's going on, my man? Saying, listen while I work. Hope everyone's doing well. Have a good show. Yeah, we've had a pretty good show. Need to get Tex on here. I want to start doing a little bit more horror stuff because, I mean, I've got Jeremy here. Now I've got Tex that I talk to a lot over on Derailed. I'm trying to schedule in some more horror stuff. I'm looking at some things. Now, we do have Nope is coming up this next month. That's one that
blink and you miss it. Spooky season's going to be here. And also that's true. That movie. Woo!
Yeah.
Ready. Again, Jordan Peele, you are out here blowing me away with this. I love what you're doing.
JSP says, might also check out Night Gallery, also hosted by Rod Serling. I do remember that. I watched a little bit of it, not a lot. I do remember it, though. I'll have to, it's been a while. I'll have to go back and look for that stuff. But yeah, I do know what you're talking about with Night Gallery. As I recall, didn't he, maybe you can help me out, JSP. I don't know if he started Night Gallery because he had left, like either he couldn't do Twilight Zone anymore. I forget exactly what I don't know. It was a million years ago. It's something that I read kind of in passing a long time ago. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was it or not. I'll have to go look that up. It's just something that popped into my head. But
I'm trying to find my Jordan Peele pop. He's somewhere in here. This is the problem. Is now I can't find people.
But yeah, that's definitely one I want to get together and do a review on. Is Nope. Dude, Jordan Peele has been killing it with the horror genre.
Yeah. Like, holy shit. What the hell is he?
And I like Keke Palmer, too. I really like all the stuff that she's been in. I think she's a really, really good actress, and I don't think she's done anything horror related yet. So I'm interested. To see her dip into the horror genre. It's a you know what's really funny? It's like for the longest time, if you look at like Jamie Lee Curtis and some people like that, horror was a great place to start your career if you were a young woman, and then you would eventually get into doing other things. Now it's like.
Ironically, it seems like it was a bad thing.
Because the horror genre
it's coming back now.
Yeah, it's coming back now, but for so long, for about 15 or 20 years, the horror genre was kind of persona non grata. It just didn't really have anything. It's like Westerns have been dead for the longest time. For the longest time, the horror genre was dead as well. Now, guys like Blumhouse and stuff like that have kind of brought the genre back. Jordan Peele is one of the people that's responsible for that as well. They've kind of brought the genre back, so now it's becoming kind of in vogue if you've already got a pretty established career to go do a couple of horror things, because they have kind of this independent mentality, but they still have weaved these decent stories in with the blood and guts that some of the horror fans want to see. So
there you guys found him. Sorry, he's down there.
JSP says, see, Texas anytime you want to talk blood and guts. See, now what's great is I've got Night Watch or anybody in his crew if he ever wants. I've got Texas into the horror stuff.
And
now we've got a pretty good horror thing going on. Obviously, like Alex from Alex and the Garbage Man. I mean, I know he's a movie guy too that loves just all movies, so I'm sure we could call him in here. We could have some pretty good horror discussions every now and then.
I know Brooding Gamer, because again he loves horror movies as well. He works with me at the Haunt, so
nice. Let's see, JSP says, Night Gallery was about 5 years after Twilight Zone. He had tried to do other TV shows and even wrote a draft for the original Planet of the Apes. Really? That ending is classic Sterling. It is classic Sterling.
just walks out and, picture, if you will, a world where the apes have run the planet. I don't know, whatever. Gets out there in a suit and tie and does his little thing.
Yeah. Tech says that the Halloween movie in 2018 brought back mainstream horror. I think it started a little bit before that. I think when Blumhouse got into the game and they started to kind of reinvent, not even reinvent the horror genre, just get back to what
they made it
at its core made good horror films.
I'm posing a question to myself of like like you said, where did that kind of start? What was really the first good like horror movie in the last 15 years?
Because before that we had stuff like The Purge. I thought The Purge was really good horror.
Yeah, it's not like traditional horror, but
it wasn't traditional, but it was definitely
dystopian, like a dystopian kind of thing. Like weirdly enough, I don't know if I'm just an unpopular opinion, but I weirdly like that series. Like I like that universe that it's put together. This weird, it's like you can pick out the things that when the real life things where you're like, I see what you're saying, I see it there, but you're kind of like. This far-fetched idea of, well, I'd love to say far-fetched because it does scare me a little bit, of, hey, like, we have a holiday every year where crime's legal for 12 straight hours. It's like, oh my god, what? What does that imply? And I'm like, this thing blossomed into something awesome. And I didn't see the series yet. I have it, like, saved in a tab somewhere on, it's Hulu or HBO, I don't know where it's at. I never did see the show, but I have all the movies, and I do enjoy watching them. So, shit, yeah. What? I'm gonna think about that for a minute.
Oh yeah, but
Tex, you and me are gonna have to have some talks. I'm telling you.
Yeah, we got to definitely. You know what? Maybe once a month. Because I've been thinking about doing some things differently on the channel.
Oh, hey, you just said Platinum Dunes. Platinum Dunes is good too. I just have a weird soft spot for Blumhouse. I don't know. I see that little logo in the corner, and I'm like, that little creepy room, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be fun.
JSP also says Night Gallery was a project he was offered that he later regretted. He didn't have, this talking about Rod Serling, he didn't have the creative control over Night Gallery like he did Twilight Zone, but the show is still worth a good look. I mean, anything with Rod Serling, there's something about the way he delivers dialogue. His tone of voice, I mean, it's like... He just reads it all monotone, and he kind of makes things sound a little scarier. It's like
the way he just like looks right at you. He's like talking to you, and you're like, "Oh my god!" What?
Imagine for a moment, if you will.
You're right.
Like, he's so calm about this scary thing; it makes it even scarier. That's what I always liked about him. And then, of course, Tech says Platinum Dunes. JSP said, hopefully I'll be getting my physical copy of In Search of Tomorrow soon, the documentary which chronicles 80s sci-fi cinema is pretty damn good at 5 hours long. You know, talking about 80s sci-fi, one of the things that I've been knocking around in my head doing is breaking down the 80s TV show V.
Hmm.
It's real deep nerd sci-fi. And Jeremy, I don't know if you're familiar with it or not. You might be.
I wasn't there something recently
They
called V?
they
Is it like a remake?
they rebooted the series in
Okay.
2008 or 8 or 9, and it only
Yeah.
lasted like one season. But the original
Okay.
miniseries and the TV show that went for a season after that was really, really good.
Okay.
That was people today look at it like they look at the original Blade Runner, that it was just too far ahead of its time. That it was just too good for audiences back then. But nowadays, sci-fi fans look at it and they go, "Damn, that's good shit."
Speaking
So,
of 80s sci-fi, just I guess you guys aren't ready for that yet. Your
yeah.
kids are gonna love it.
Your kids are gonna love it.
There you
But yeah, but it's got like Robert Englund is in it.
Ooh.
This was
Hello.
about the time that he was playing Freddy Krueger the first time, like in the
Okay, so, like-
original Elm Street. So he
Yeah,
was
like
so right around the
84?
same time he was playing this like crazy killer in your dreams, while he was playing this goofy, lovable alien guy who was actually trying to help the resistance, who was a good guy. So like these two diametric opposite characters, and you play both of them beautifully. Yeah, next
got
next
range.
time you come over, I have V the miniseries on DVD. I'll have to let you borrow it.
Okay.
But it's really good sci-fi from like 84, 85, somewhere in that range.
Because Nightmare on Elm Street was 84, I believe. So probably mid 80s. Yeah.
But yeah,
I guess.
it was great stuff. Tex also says the Purge TV show season 2 is the best stuff they've ever done. You know, I've only ever seen the first 2 Purge movies, and it's been forever since I've seen either one of those.
You're killing me.
But well, I mean,
I've got
hey, look,
all
there's a
of
lot
them.
of movies I want to watch, and I can't watch them all. Look, I got to sleep for 8 hours. I got to work for 8 hours. It's like,
Look, I know we talked about 80s sci-fi, but you don't have to do the they live on me. You know,
Yeah.
work for 8 hours, sleep for 8 hours, play for 8 hours. Don't do that to me.
JSP says, speaking of Blade Runner and the Thing, of course, 40 years ago. Yeah, both came out on the same day
hell.
40 years ago. God, it's there was this segment that they used to do on Movie Talk on Collider's YouTube channel, where they would call it the Getting Old segment, and they would reach back to like movies that came out decades ago, 20, 30, 40 years ago, and sometimes I look at those and be like, Jesus Christ, I remember being 13 and going and seeing that in theaters.
Oh man.
I'm like, good God, that is terrible. But whatever. This gray hair didn't come from a box. It came from years of experience and beer drinking and fighting and all this other crazy stuff that you do after you've been on the earth for a while. So yeah, I've seen a lot of shit. But
Well, is it next? No, 2 years from now, be the 50th anniversary of my favorite horror movie, Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah.
That's 74 to 2024. Holy shit!
yeah,
Woo!
and that
Yeah.
is still my favorite horror movie of all time.
Yeah, I mean,
There
Is it still down
there
here?
is something so great about that movie.
and
That
I
and
will
like
sit there-
the original Elm Street, the original Friday the 13th. I love the originals of all these great franchises. I think that was the golden age of horror from the mid 70s all the way up through the mid 80s.
I'll sit there and I will just geek out over the cinematography in that movie because it is something else. It is phenomenal. Hey, there's Pulp Fiction. I'm looking for it. I keep saying it's like right in this damn drawer, and I know it's not. Damn it. Anyway, I've got the little steel case book from the 40th anniversary of Texas Chainsaw, and it's the weird thing of like, why are you going to buy it again? Because I like it. Shut up. I want to see what the 50-year anniversary box art's going to look like. Screw you.
You buy it for show. You buy it just to have. You know what I mean?
I really do. If it's something that's that important, yes, I will do that. Which again, I'm about to make that point here in a second because I have things to say.
JSP says the biggest problem with Blade Runner is that no one knew how to promote it properly. I've heard that too, that they didn't market that movie very well. But I mean, I was like 5 when that movie came out, so what did I know about marketing? There was a fan-made film noir trailer that captured the mood of the movie better than anything Warner Brothers did. Yeah, marketing for a movie though can be so weird, especially for a movie that's really dense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because it's one thing to have, like to have an action spectacular like, The Expendables. It's like all you have to do is show a lot of explosions, a couple of one-liners, and say tickets go on sale Friday, and then that's going to be the movie. But when you have something that's like, because Blade Runner is deeply philosophical, it's deeply ethical. There's a lot of things on there that have nothing to do, that can't be told through action and explosions. Rick Decker's, his struggles throughout the course of the movie, things like that. I don't know. Like I said, that movie was just too deep for people at the time, and I think the hardcore sci-fi fans got a hold of it as they either A, got older, or B, were born, 20 years after the movie came out, and that they saw it through different eyes, and they're like, holy shit, this is really good. And I think eventually the Blade Runner 2049 that came out, it's kind of got the same treatment. It kind of came and went, and nobody watched it, but a lot of people are like, look, 20, 30 years from now, people might look at the sequel the same way they look at the original. So... Tech says Chainsaw Massacre is god tier level film. My favorite horror film of all time. Honestly, it's like it's like that movie. When it comes to horror, it's like that movie for me. And I like all the OG horror movies, the Elm Street, the Friday the 13th, and stuff like that, the Halloween. But that movie is so much better. There's just something about the way they made that film. It's different. And I even mentioned it when me and Brody did our Texas Chainsaw. No, it was you and me that did it. I'm sorry. When you and me did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre review, I even said that one of the great things about that film to me was like that sepia film tone, like that hazy quality that the film has. It makes
you feel saturated.
Better. Yeah,
you feel like you're in the middle of a heat wave in Texas in the summer. It's a gritty movie in the fact that you're getting killed by these cannibals, one of which wields a chainsaw, but like, I don't know, there's something about like I said, the cinematography is just, I don't even know how to describe, like, the ending, like, you're in the fucking climax of this movie, him chasing Sally Hardesty out to the road, the brother gets fucking run over by the semi, and then the dude we never talk about, he just takes off, we never see him again, but whatever, the truck driver. And then, she gets away. And then there's that, like, him just swinging the saw around and just all mad. I know people make fun of it, but I'm like, hey, have you ever tried to swing a chainsaw? It's not easy. You're going to look dumb doing pirouettes. You're going to look like you're doing pirouettes and whatnot. So, like, don't...
Unless you're wearing a face made out of human skin. Then you're going to look cool as
shit. Yes. I mean, like, I've tried it because, I worked in a haunt. I did chainsaws for many years. And trust me, that's not easy. It's fucking hard to do. But, like... him just kind of almost silhouetted against the background of like that sunrise, that real harsh sunrise coming up, and like that gives me chills to this day. When then it just abruptly cuts straight to black, just like the chainsaw's still revving, and you just cut straight to silence, and then rolls the credits, and I'm just like, I'm still there. My heart's beating. I'm like, oh my god, we were just being chased.
Yeah,
and it just stops. I'm like, oh my god, what? Whew, it's. I can sit here and talk about that movie for like 4 hours straight. Trust me. And it's the appreciation. I know it's the appreciation of like what went, like we were saying, like what went into making that movie. If you ever look into it, like I definitely haven't done, but like just what they went through to even put this movie out there. And I mean, my God, you're talking about throwing up in between scenes, and you film a whole night scene for about 20-some hours straight in the middle of Texas during the day. You got big, heavy blackout curtains because it's supposed to be nighttime. And you got the food like just permeating on the table, and you got all the actual taxidermy that was the set design. Mm-hmm. And you got to wear the same damn clothes because, I mean, it was just a, shoestring fucking movie. You wear the same clothes every damn day, and they're saturated in sweat and blood and part of actual guts and shit like that.
Well,
you guys sit there.
I think we may have mentioned we did the review that like the girl that played Sally, she had actually said that they had used real like pig guts and blood to smear on the clothes to get the blood effect, and because it took them quite some time to get some of these scene shots, that they were going day after day wearing the same clothes, and then after a day or two, that blood shit would start to like ferment, and just turn gross, and they were putting on this. She would put on this like tank top that was already covered with like 4 or 5 day old pig blood and guts. And
you're not acting.
Ass, and it was terrible.
I think they even said like that last scene. I think they had to reshoot some stuff. They said they thought they were done. They're like, oh my god, I can actually take this shit off. I need to scrub myself with bleach for the next week. But like, they told them like, guys, we got to come back and film some other. So I'm like, oh my god, were you even acting in the last scene? Because they were so pissed off. You had to put all that stuff back on and go back into. Oh man, I couldn't even imagine. I mean, psychologically, that would just drive you insane.
Absolutely.
Talk about fucking Kubrick, annoying. What's her? Not married. Oh, what the hell's her name? Wendy. Shelley Duvall.
Oh, okay.
I got Shelley in there. And I was hired on to Shelley. I'm like, Shelley what? Shelley Duvall. I'm like, say what you want about him, like torturing the hell out of her. I'm like, you know what? these people went through some shit to make a really awesome movie. Yes, Marilyn Burns. It came to me later.
Right.
Thank you, Tex.
Tex also says now, in case his name doesn't give it away, he actually lives in Texas. Not to dox him or anything, but it's a big state, so if you want to go down there and find him, you can take your chances. I'm pretty sure he can deal with you. But he says, I've been to many of the locations of the 74 and 2003 films of Texas Chainsaw. He had barbecue at the same gas stations from the 74 movie.
I want to do that. I just watched that this morning of movie locations that you can visit from horror movies, and that was I knew about that one. It was the gas station's still there, and you can like camp out there, and they have barbecue, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do it. Hell yeah.
Jennifer and I went to Texas in December because she was born just outside of Houston, and she saw his family down there, so we went to visit before the holidays. And I was thinking to myself, like, there's so many places in the state I want to go see. One of them was some filming locations. The other one is I wanted to go to Dallas to see where Kennedy was killed. I wanted to go to, like, Waco, where the Branch Davidian compound was, just to see it. I wanted to go to a couple of these different places, but they were all, like, 2, 3, 4 hours away from where we were, just outside of Houston. So I was like, damn it, I don't have to... We only had, like, 3 days there, so I didn't really have time to just leave for a whole day. There was other stuff we were going to be doing, but... God, because the main thing I want to do is I want to go to Johnson Space Center. That was the one thing I had to do when I was down there. Okay. So we spent pretty much an entire day at Johnson Space Center. But yeah, one of the things I'd like to do is I'd like to go see the filming locations of that movie next time I get to Texas. So there's going to be another trip to Texas coming at some point in the future. I don't quite.
I want to go see. I want to go see the house because it is also. I swear they did this on purpose. The house is also now like a cafe or something. I'm like, God damn it!
Make it a bed and breakfast. Make it an Airbnb.
Right, you know?
it's like just have chainsaws and taxidermy on the wall. $100 a night if you can stand it. $100 a night.
I'll bring my own chainsaw. Screw you. It's
I'd do it.
BYOC.
I'd do it. I'd stay in the house and be like, you know what, getting killed by Leatherface, honorable death. Honorable death.
That's the way to go.
If you got to get hacked by a chainsaw, it may as well be by Leatherface.
Yeah, I think they have my favorite version of the mask there. I saw like a little thing at the store. They had the pretty face mask, the one he wore at the end. Love that mask.
One more before we go. Texas, the original Texas Chainsaw House is now in Kingston, Texas. They made it into a restaurant.
Yeah, they moved it. They moved it from the original spot to there, and made it to a restaurant, which is absolutely hilarious. Yeah. Yeah, I want to go to the gas station in the house. Yeah, I would eat both places. Hell yeah.
That seems like a pretty good place to wrap things up. Thank you all. Don't forget to vote in the poll. Actually, let me close the poll while I'm thinking about it. It's still kind of lopsided, but the no's actually got a few more points right there towards the end. I said, is it too soon for a movie about the death of Gabby Petito? And it appears that 73% of you say yes, it's too soon, while 26% said no, it's not too soon. That was like 85-90% for most of the show. So there was a run of no's right there towards the end, at least 3 or 4 of them. So yeah, but still, I mean, kind of a blowout one way or the other. But yeah, the no's made a little bit of a comeback. Again, to me, I want to be able to tell us the complete story rather than just half of it. But anyway, that's just me. I do want to thank my awesome co-host for tonight. Lady Cora, again, was not here today. She has some things going on, but we look forward to having her back next week. I also want to thank the Brooding Gamer for popping on for a little while. You're going to be seeing his face around here more often as we do some other stuff, different reviews, different news stories that we're going to talk about. We're very glad that he was able to pop on tonight. And then, of course, my hetero life mate, Jeremy. Where can the folks find you on the internet, my friend?
Oh, good Lord. But I'm not doing that. I'm here. I'm here on Thursdays. I want to make the Spaceballs joke every time now. Just now, you're looking at now. Everything happening is happening now on this channel. Then I'm also here Mondays if we decide to do a review for a particular big movie or something, right after it releases. And I'm also... How many of you are in here now? 14. All right, I'm talking to all 14 of you that I lost my stuff. Calling you out. Yeah, when we get like a peak of like 19, 20 people in here and I get absolutely nothing. Whatever. Video games aren't for everybody, but I'm over on Twitch playing video games. So that's on Tuesdays. A little earlier than this show, around 6 o'clock. We've just been playing some Lego Star Wars. We beat the game, but not beating the game. We're just going around finding all the secrets, all the whatnots, just having a good time. This just sounds hilarious that I'm going to say it so nonchalantly, is that we bought the Death Star, so we have the Death Star now.
Just bought the Death Star. No big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty big deal. And they make a funny joke that I was like when I was looking it up because it was very confusing. They're like, oh yeah, the Death Star 2 only the Death Star costs 5 million, and the second Death Star in this game costs 2 million. I'm like, why does it cost? And then I read the next line. It said, well, it is only half completed. I'm like, oh fuck you, that's so funny. That's all right. Well, it costs half as much because it wasn't funny.
Star
But
Wars
where I
joke.
was,
Star Wars joke for those of you who don't get it.
you don't get it. I don't know what you're doing here. That's one big thing of mine. Is it's definitely Star Wars. But another big thing of mine that I'm kind of rolling around in my head because I had this idea and I just never went with it. Before my favorite game series, I did not know was going to have a sequel, The Last of Us. I was going to play through the first game again because I had the remastered version on PS4. But now that we're doing the Grand Theft Auto and Skyrim thing of releasing it on every new console, but I'm not mad. I've only actually ever purchased a game more than once, I think. Actually, no, I've only done that once. I think it was GTA. No, I did Skyrim. I lied. Don't listen to me. I lied. But that's because I like them and they're good games. So, in leading up to it, I might play the first one again just to kind of get back into it, and I want to compare to the new one. But I think because I feel like it's slightly unfair, I want to play through the second game again just to give it a chance, even though you're still not going to convince me that Abby's a good person. I don't care if you cut me off halfway through the game and make me play through the entire half again as her. I'm just saying there's nothing you're going to make me watch or make me like her, so I don't know. But I'll give it a fair I'll give it a fair second shake. It's 3 times when you're playing with yourself, but I'll give it 2 shakes. There's a weird way to put that. But yeah, more Last of Us stuff, and they are making a TV series out of it, so I'm excited. That was it.
He is Grim Tuesday 23 across all platforms. I still need to actually go get the link to his Twitch and put it in the gaming content below. But anyway, go to Twitch, go look up Grim Tuesday 23. You're going to find him and his better half Rachel doing all kinds of gaming stuff. And don't forget, Rachel also has her own gaming thing too, right?
Eventually. She's getting on her way to make a PC setup for herself to be able to do it, because I can't... I'm sitting here acting like I'm famous on the internet. Like, yeah, she's piggybacking off of me until she does her own thing. I'm like, no, we're just here. No one's riding off anyone's back right now.
Oh, well, for now you can find her over on his channel and then eventually on hers, and we'll be linking to that one as well.
And then we'll be also doing stuff with Brooding Gamer. I forgot to mention that.
And stuff with Brooding. Oh yeah, actually you've got a lot of stuff planned with him, don't you?
Yeah, I feel bad now. I didn't mention that. There's some stuff that we're gonna be doing. I'm gonna kind of integrate myself into his little weird universe he's got going on, being Alan Grant, the dinosaur hunter, or the dinosaur man. But I hate to be like the weird. I'm not like known on the internet, but I've always had this persona of Grim Tuesday. I know it's based off a book, and I don't want the author coming at me. He did like my tweet though. He liked my tweet when I said I want to personify this character that I for some reason have held onto for the past like 15 years. 16 years. Oh my good God. I think 16 or 17 years now. Whew. But that got depressing. But he actually liked my tweet, and I'm kind of like nervous now because I'm like, oh crap, if I say something and he doesn't like it, I'm gonna feel really upset. But it's because it's elements of stuff that I put into this character, but it's also I'm trying to keep true to how the character is in the. Hey, actually, it's behind me. Right back on the bottom shelf, third shelf, right there. You can't see the books, but the whole series is right there. So I might have to start doing that because like that needs to just be me on the internet because I can't just be myself. I'm gonna, start getting swatted. And it's like, it's not really me though. Joke's on you. Call an ambulance, but not for me. I don't know.
Get one of those. What are they? The VPINs, whatever they call.
Oh, the VPNs. Yeah, I'm like, I feel like I need to have a VPN and also not be literally me. So I'm sorry if all of a sudden you see me coming up into this show with a top hat and a skull face on. Don't ask why. It's just... I'll have a bow tie though. I'm pretty classy. That company needs to sponsor me because the company is actually called Bow Tie Tuesday. And I'm like, how fucking cool is that?
It just works.
Why do you think it does? Why do you think my logo is the skull with the bow tie? Like, It writes itself, people. I'm telling you, it's gonna be classy.
Anyway, that's Jeremy. Go check him out.
All right, that I'm just a creative person.
As for me, you can find me here every Thursday with my kick-ass co-hosts going over all the craziness going on in the world of television and entertainment, reviewing all the cool stuff that we watch, that we want to review anyway. You can also find me on Sundays at 9 o'clock Ohio time over on the Derailed News and Podcast channel, talking about all the other news going on around the world. We were going over a bunch of all the heavy stories last week, Roe v. Wade, gun control. That was a pretty heavy show. You can also find people like Tex and chat over there as well. JSP is in there a lot. Federico Garza's from over there. So all the same people that you have fun talking to in the chat here, you'll have fun talking to in the chat over there. And our next show is going to be next Thursday. I don't think I'm... 4th of July, I'm actually going to be on the Horny Goat channel breaking down Avengers Endgame with them. So go check out the Horny Goat channel. I do not think I have them in the description, but just go look for the Horny Goat. There's probably not that many Horny Goat channels on YouTube, so go click on them. Not only is it a cool channel name, but it's a bunch of really cool people. I'll be over there with them on Monday, about 11:30 my time. We're going to be just talking about... They're doing their Marvel Roundtable stuff. They've started with Iron Man, and they're blowing right through all the Marvel movies one by one, once a week, every Monday. Also, go check them out if you're a wrestling fan. They do a lot of really cool wrestling stuff. They have the Universe mode on one of the WWE games, and I like to watch them with all the funny characters that people create. It's kind of fun. So you can actually create a character and send it into them, and they'll have fun with it and fuck with it. There's some pretty outlandish stuff that they do, but they do all kinds of crazy shit on there. So go check out the Horny Goat as well. I'll be over there on Monday. And until then, we will see you guys next week. Adios.
Yeah.